All right, man. So I've been thinking here lately, and this is the kind of thing that's just a cute scenario that I've thought up. I think it'd be really funny to us outsiders that aren't a part of the situation, and it's also the kind of thing that if somebody wanted to, just, not putting ideas into people's heads here, but if somebody wanted to, they could probably go online and spread around some fake propaganda to get this to happen.
Okay.
But here's what I'm thinking. Okay. Of course, our nation is now completely chock-a-block full of degenerate, idiot white supremacists, right?
Right, yeah, we got a ton of them.
They get together, they have their little rallies, their get-togethers and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking it would be kind of funny if, whenever they have these great big rallies and get-togethers and stuff like that, if they only listen to the whitest music possible.
Okay.
So whenever you see, you've got like 100 of these guys in a line and they're all like throwing up the Heil Hitler salute or something.
Right.
But then behind them, blaring on loudspeakers is, drops of Jupiter in a ear, hey, hey, hey.
I mean, they would love it.
I mean, furiously waving a Nazi flag, and behind it you hear, Mr. Jones and me.
I don't know, because Adam Duris's dreadlocks is probably just not enough white for them.
That's true. That's a little too ethnic for their taste,
Also,
right?
I believe he is Jewish, so they probably would have a problem with that as well.
Okay. Well, I'll backtrack then, and maybe they're waving that flag to the soundtrack of "It's Been 1 week since you looked at me." Bare naked lady.
But
and
they're
I'm thinking,
Canadian. I mean,
yeah, it's true. It's kind of the. I don't know. Canada's
Canadian
the whitest
people
country.
are white people too. So
Very
I
white.
guess white supremacists aren't anti-Canadian.
I don't even think it too. Like at the end of the night, after a long day of just raging and being stupid as fuck.
Right.
They're all wrapping up. It's time to shut it down and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Closing time. And you get these big burly guys put their arms around each other and be like, man, there's just something about this song. I mean, if they could all a little, it would really just kind of take the fangs off the whole thing, wouldn't it?
Right. I think any picture of white supremacists takes the fangs out of it. It's pretty clear they're not the supreme race.
Yeah, pretty clear. Welcome, dead and lovely listeners, to the brand newest installment of your favoriteest horror movie review podcast in all the known multiverse. Why, it's Dead and Lovely, here with the host with the most, your good buddy, Uncle Ben.
And me, Hollywood Steve.
And we are here doing our traditional yearly wild card in honor of Harry Potter's birthday. We've been doing this for 4 years now, which is pretty mind-blowing, and every year around this time, we like to put aside our love of horrific flicks and sit down and talk shit about a Harry Potter movie, and that's what you're getting today. We're going to be talking real shitty about Harry Potter 4 and the Goblet of Fire, which, of course, up front, if this is your first time listening to the show, is not a PG podcast.
No.
If you're looking for a kid-friendly Harry Potter review, this is not it.
And also, we are not going to defend J.K. Rowling.
No.
At all. We're not here for her transphobic bullshit.
No.
Trans women are women. Trans men are men. People haven't noticed maybe how fucking anti-trans men her essay is. She's off the deep end on this ridiculous transphobic bullshit, and we're not here for it. But we've been doing this as a tradition, and we said 2 weeks ago on our podcast, we asked if anybody, wanted us to not do it, to let us know. Everybody seems fine with us going forward, so this episode will be a lot of shit talk.
That's right. And of course, we'll say up front, we stand in solidarity with our trans brothers and sisters wherever you may be. You guys just keep doing you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not doing this to in any way support what JK has been saying.
No, or to capitalize on the fact that this is in the headlines or anything like that.
Yeah, you can look back on our
yearly plans.
Yeah, we had been planning on this exact date for over a year, so we were gonna do this, and I do wonder if we keep it up. I don't know. I mean, because like last episode, or the last time we did it, last one was the third movie, and we kind of trashed the movie a lot.
Yeah.
Which was fun, and I thought it was going to keep up this sort of funness of trashing this silly movie, but it's gotten a sort of serious element to it where it's kind of questionable about, like, how fun will it even be in the future to keep talking about these movies. So,
right.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from the listeners more. You know, just let us know, like, if you want us to keep doing this, if it's worth it to at least have the conversation, at least to say, like, you know, trans women are women and JK is wrong. I mean, that's a positive that can come out of talking about this for sure.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. So let us know if we should keep this up.
Yeah, absolutely so. And if you want to help support causes for people in the LGBTQ community and the trans community and all that stuff, we got a couple of links in the podcast description to some charities and stuff like that you can donate to and look into. The Trevor Project is probably the most well-known one that benefits.
Yeah, that's the one that Daniel Radcliffe has been working with, and Daniel Radcliffe has come out and as against what JK has said. So has what's his name, Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, dude. Some strong statements.
Yeah, so the Trevor Project is definitely a place to go. You were talking about Marsha P. Johnson just a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, that's right. There's the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, which is a great charity fund, especially for, you know, human resources for, like, black trans people. The black trans people really get shit on a lot.
Yeah,
so they kind of need the most help.
Yeah, being trans in America is unsafe. Absolutely. And being black in America is unsafe. So the black trans community gets it very, very terribly in this country. So it is important to focus a lot on that community and try to help. So the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, definitely worth your money.
And the Okra Project as well is one that is like a global crisis center that targets specifically, trans black people and stuff, and tries to help them out and get them everything they need. So,
I mean, as hard as it is to be trans and black in America, it can be even worse in other places in the world.
Yeah. So if you want to help our brothers and sisters out, please consider checking out any of those things, donating some dough, putting your dollars towards something good. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Steve, how you been this week, man?
I've been good. I have been just chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and working my ass off.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I feel a year older since we podcasted last.
Did you have a birthday?
My numbers have increased, Steve.
Yep,
my numbers have gone up by one. My life stat has increased by one level.
Yeah.
I'm now a 36-year-old man.
Man, can you imagine if you came across a cursed piece of armor that added 3 to your life stat?
Oh my god, dude. But what are the perks though? Like, is my defense plus fucking 10?
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's
badass, but now you're like 3 years older, and I don't know if you know this, but 3 years older can mean a whole lot.
That's true. That is totally true.
You could be suddenly like, oh, well, that thing that didn't hurt 3 years ago hurts now.
Yeah, finding that out all the fucking time, I'll tell you that. I had a great birthday. I'll tell you what I did. Shit.
That's
it was
an awesome birthday. That is a perfect birthday.
Because I'd kind of made, like, you know, just sort of loose plans. You know, it'd be like, well, if anybody's available, you know, maybe we can just get like a beer on a patio. Nobody was available. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just not going to do anything.
Right.
So basically, that's why I just stayed home all weekend with no plan, played music, edited video and stuff, and watched a shit ton of flicks. I've watched a ton of stuff this week.
You
want me to dump it on you?
Yeah, dump them.
Dump them movies out. Okay. For starters, we watched Lovebirds on Netflix.
Lovebirds.
It is hysterical.
It
is
this?
So freaking funny, man. It's a comedy about this couple that is going through a breakup, And then they kind of like end up sort of wrapped up in this crazy thing where this guy hijacks their car and uses it to kill somebody else. And then they're trying to put the pieces together. They kind of like end up in the middle of this like crime ring kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
In the middle of a breakup. It is so funny. It's totally one of those ones that, you know, took an extra 15 or 20 minutes to watch just because we kept rewinding parts because it's so funny, you know?
Who's in it?
I cannot remember the names of anybody that's in it.
Okay.
I've just been informed by my secretary that Issa Rae is in it. I'm so bad with names of anybody. I don't know anybody's names.
All right.
Hilarious. Absolutely fantastic. That was really good. We watched Just Mercy this week.
Okay. I know Have Mercy, which is obviously Uncle Jesse's catchphrase from Full House. So
it's not related to that. It's not related to that at all.
But John Stamos was in it.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely a lot less fun and uplifting than that.
Okay.
But definitely
Just
some positive vibes towards the end. Yeah, it's the one with Michael B. Jordan and what is his name? The guy that played Ray Charles in the movie, Jamie Foxx. That's his name.
That's him.
And you know, it's based on a true story about this guy who was on death row and stuff, and this lawyer that fought for him. Man alive, it is a powerful feature. It's a powerful feature.
Okay. Oh, I mean, I can imagine Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. They're known for fucking nailing it. So.
Oh yeah, and it's available like streaming for free everywhere. It's one of those things that, given the current events of the country, which include the president literally tweeting one of his supporters screaming white power the other day.
Yeah. Yep.
Woo! Explain your way out of that one, y'all. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear it. He's in the first 5 seconds of the video.
Guys, it's okay. He's an idiot.
Oh, okay. that explains it.
It's all right. It's fine. He didn't know.
Yeah. But considering the state of like everything that's been going on, they actually, you know, across the board made it free to watch on every streaming service. So if you go on Amazon, you can rent it for $0, and I recommend it. Really, really good. We also continued our streak of watching through all of the Marvel flicks in chronological order.
I forgot you were doing that.
Yeah, so we are currently on Miss Marvel. We watched that the other day.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, it's called, not Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
God,
Miss
what is with me
Marvel's
and fucking names today? Jesus, dude. I'm not
That's
on
all right.
But I still think it's okay. I think that Coulson and Sam Jackson really keep the movie going.
Right. The humor of
Nick Fury in there. Yeah, totally. And too, man, the de-aging stuff they did on Nick Fury is still
it looks really good.
Fuck.
Surprising.
It looks really, really good. We watched the OG Iron Man, which, newsflash, is still fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Dude, I remember seeing that in the theaters when it came out and just leaving the theater and being like, I can't believe they finally got a comic book movie right. Where it doesn't feel like, you know, like the Nolan Batman stuff where it's just like, oh, it's like the comic book, but way grittier and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, no, this felt like the comic book and how I imagined it would feel if it was turned into a real movie where they put real respect for the source material and real budget into the actors and special effects and stuff so that, you know, the whole world could see how cool these comic book stories that I've loved my whole life are finally, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think, the Spider-Man movies were like that for me, but seeing Iron Man nail it, we didn't know exactly where it was going. Like at that point, because they made that Hulk movie after that just isn't really good and kind of gets ignored in the MCU.
That's one of the next ones that we're watching, and I seriously can't remember anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, Ed Norton's fine. It's just I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. I remember there were good elements of it, like Tim Roth's Abomination, and then they set up Tim Blake Nelson was gonna have like a recurring role, but then I think they kind of recognized that Hulk is a bad character to be the central character.
He's a side dish. Yeah, he's not a main course. Yeah.
I think they can do it now that they've made him the smart Hulk. And that was like one of my favorite runs. I think it was in the 90s when there was the brief period where he was very much in control, like Bruce Banner was in control.
Yeah, Professor Hulk.
Yeah, I would like to see them do something with that because all of Hulk's enemies are fucking cool and they haven't really been used except in that one movie. which is kind of ignored entirely.
Right. Yeah. So, that's a good point right there. I look forward to watching that one again just to see if it's any better than I remembered. Because I remember watching it being like, it was fine.
It's fine.
Nowhere near Iron Man, though.
Yeah. It just doesn't. It's not on that same level. And then what comes after that? Was that when Captain America came out?
We've already done Captain America. But we're watching him in timeline wise. Yeah. Right. I think the one after Hulk is going to be the first Thor.
Yeah. Okay. That first Thor is good.
It's fun. It's silly, as it should be. Yeah. It should be a silly movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Thor is best silly, I think.
Yeah, definitely, man. The other thing that we watched this week for our new tradition of Docu Monday.
That's right.
This week was my turn to choose the flick, and so I chose to watch Still on the Run, which is a documentary, I believe on Showtime, about one of the greatest guitar players that's ever lived, one of the most underrated figures in music history, motherfucking Jeff Beck, one of the absolute all-time heavyweight champions. I don't know if you know much about Jeff Beck.
I don't know anything about Jeff Beck. I was going to say, is that Beck's dad?
Beck's dad.
Yeah.
So the thing about Jeff Beck is, like, he is of the exact same generation and indeed is friends with and played in bands with everybody that you think of as, like, the OG greatest electric guitar players of all time. So Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix. He's absolutely from that era. Those guys are all household names. Jeff Beck is still one of those guys that really only guitar players know, even though the guy has played on 80 billion albums. He played the solo on Shot Down in a Blaze of Glory by Bon Jovi.
What?
Come on. As well as countless other things. He played on fucking Private Dancer, man. I mean, tons of stuff.
Dancing for money. Do what you want me to do.
You're damn right. And but the thing about him is like the reason why he never hit that household name status is because he is one of the most uncompromising figures that has ever lived. Like, even if things were going just absolutely ideal, if Jeff lost interest or inspiration, he would just drop a project because he knew it wouldn't be worth his time. No compromise. Like, I'll put it to you this way. So the Jeff Beck group, featuring Rod Stewart on vocals, because he was the guy that kind of like put Rod Stewart on the map, playing on his early records like Truth and stuff like that. They were slated to play Woodstock, like the Woodstock, 1969 Woodstock.
Wait, the Woodstock where Sha-Na Na played?
Exactly.
Okay, we're talking big names like Sha-Na Na.
Exactly.
Look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Sha-Na Na played Woodstock.
Ooh, big names.
It's crazy.
So basically, 3 days before the festival, Jeff Beck was just like, I'm not interested in doing this. I don't think the music's where it needs to be yet with this band. And just pulled out of the whole thing. It was like, yeah, we're not doing it. 3 days before Woodstock.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then they're interviewing him about it, and he's like, yeah, and I go back and I look at the film that they made about Woodstock, and I know I made the right decision.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, it's like, can you imagine being such a fucking hard ass and so uncompromising that you go, I backed out of Woodstock, the most documented piece of, music history that came through the 60s and 70s, and was like, I decided not to do it. No regrets. What a badass.
Well, yeah. I mean, I understand that. I mean, it seems like it would be a fun way to be able to live your life. But it also seems like it would require a whole lot of privilege.
Maybe. It's one of those things that he, I think, definitely earned enough money playing with the Yardbirds and all these other artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, to be able to be like, no, fuck that. I'm just not doing that.
Because it's like, I don't need the money to play that, so I'm just not gonna,
Yeah. Can you imagine if the whole world worked like that? If everybody just had enough money where they could just turn down shit?
Nah, it'll never happen. Never.
That'd be awesome. That would be so great. Could you imagine? Like, I mean, it would be hell on the fast food industry for sure, but I think it'd be a better world.
Hey, man, that's why we need house elves, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that for sure.
Jeff Beck is also absolutely the basis of Nigel Tufnell in Spinal Tap 2. So if you can ever watch 30 seconds of any Jeff Beck interview, you'll be like, oh my God, it's like listening to Nigel Tufnell, like in every possible way. So awesome. Really great documentary. Probably not very interesting if you don't play guitar. But God, I loved it. And then the only other really great thing I want to mention that we watched this week is what we watched over lunch today. which, we're big fans of the Try Guys over on YouTube.
Yeah,
I think they always just have fun, easy-to-watch content, perfect for a lunch break or just a late-night YouTube snack. And oddly enough, they just put up a video where they find out their Patronuses on the Pottermore website.
Oh, yeah?
It is absolutely hysterical because they're drinking the whole time, and by the end of it, they're drunk as fuck. They figure out their wands and their Patronuses, and it is hysterical. Absolutely hilarious. I won't spoil it for you, but definitely go watch that. At the very end of the video is like the little stinger. Ned brings up a really interesting point where he's like, all the wands that people get assigned, they're all like different lengths and stuff like that, right?
Uh-huh.
But do they have to be like long? What if somebody's wand was just like a Coke can, like the size and diameter of a Coke can? You're just swishing and flicking that thing around.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, there's not is there a requirement that it has to be like long and pointy, or could it just be like, could my wand be like wooden brass knuckles? Could that be a thing?
I mean,
punching spells through the air. That'd be sick.
I cannot see the wand as anything but a dick. Like,
obviously,
like the length changing from person to person. It would only make sense if it was like relative to your height. Or if it was like relative to hand size. No, it's just some big ass wands are like, yeah, I like you, Ron. Wasn't Ron's wand like fucking huge?
Was it? Would he have a hog?
I think so.
Old hog wand Ron.
Hog wand Ron.
But maybe some of these wands are just all girth. There's no way to know.
All girth, yeah,
just a handful.
Just a tuna can. What if you had a tuna can?
It's like, what is
that? A tuna can.
Whoa! Watch where you're flinging that thing, guy. So I've had myself a great week. It's just been a good, chill birthday time, man. And
that's
again,
awesome.
I got to watch a ton of stuff, so that's definitely cool. What have you been watching, man?
Well, I've been really busy, but Emily and I did watch the final season of Broad City finally.
Awesome. God, dude. So good.
Yeah, it's great. And tears were shed, of course, because it's sad. We're going to miss the gals. But, of course, 5 seasons of the show still exists, so.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome show.
That's a show that could have kept going for fucking 20 seasons. I don't care. I think that those bitches are hilarious.
I did, however, when I had some break time, I did, as I normally do, listen to some music on the old YouTube. Yeah. And did end up in some 90s music videos.
Oh,
and I had some observations.
Okay, tell me about them.
Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It.
Classic.
These are some lines from This Is How We Do It.
Okay, is this going to make me rethink this so-called classic?
No. I just have a question for Montel Jordan.
Okay.
All they would say is 680 stood, and some of the music that he made was good. Now, I just now picked that lyric out. So if someone were to ask me about Montel Jordan before I had heard that, I would not have said he stood 6'8", because I didn't know that.
That's a tall man.
Montel Jordan's a very tall man.
I bet his wand is enormous.
But he fucking nailed it on the other one. Some of the music that he made was good.
Yeah.
So, way to go, Montel Jordan.
He's realistic. He's not like, I'm the all-time greatest. He's like, yeah, some of it was good, some of it less so.
It stood out to me because it was the first time I'd ever seen a modest boast.
Kind of is.
It's like, I am tall, and they'll remember that. They'll also remember I made some all right music. Way to go, Montel Jordan.
Yeah,
Number 2.
Exactly. Not one to brag or boast, just being honest. And he's right. I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Number 2, Genuine, Pony.
Yeah, classic.
Classic. Rewatch that video.
That video, I did like a year ago. Dude, we watched that video, and we were just looking at each other the whole time being like, are you seeing what the fuck I'm seeing? Because that Pony video is strange.
It's him singing Pony and dancing like fucking, he's fucking somebody.
All sexy
in
like.
a redneck bar
Yeah.
And there's some implication that one of the rednecks is actively trying to not eye fuck him.
Yeah, it's definitely in there. It is not subtext.
It's wild, dude. What?
Yeah. Of all the videos that I would have expected to see for that song, that one is in the weirdest alternate dimension.
I would have expected a lot more like women, him trying to like seduce women. No, he's in a redneck bar, and it's just like it's like he was like, oh, I know this is a hit. I want to get a fucking jab in at racist ass rednecks.
More power to him.
And it's like, yes, you nailed it.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one right there, man.
So yeah, that was fun. I had a fun time with those. Oh, also, we should remake the "Unbreak My Heart" video as soon as the quarantine is done. Okay. I'll be Tyson Beckford and you be Tony Braxton.
Oh, I'm on board with that.
We'll stage the whole thing. It'll be great.
Okay, sign me up.
I need you crying in the shower is my point.
Oh, yeah. Anytime, man. I mean, next time I'm taking a shower, I'll just turn the iPhone on for just a second. I'll get it.
I'm going to have to work on my abs to look like Tyson Beckford, but
I guess.
We'll get there.
Did you guys do anything on that old streaming chat this week?
Hell yeah, we did. We're back to picking our own movies, and we went with Tales from the Crypt 1972, the old school anthology. I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's a classic anthology. It's got some moments that, if you haven't seen it, will seem familiar because they have been spoofed or homaged so much. But it's not. It doesn't hold up as much as I remembered.
Oh yeah, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of the stories are really good. Like there's one that I love, absolutely love. But the others, I don't know. They all end kind of abruptly. The stories aren't strong, I would say. But it is an important anthology to see, I think, because it's one of the better early anthology horror.
I mean, without that, we probably wouldn't ever have a Creep Show or anything like that either.
Oh, so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Creep Show definitely is, because like Tales from the Crypt is an adaptation of the Tales from the Crypt comic books, and Creep Show is that sort of same thing, you know. So
right on.
Yeah, Creepshow wouldn't exist without that, I don't think. It is a weird idea in 1972, I think, is when it came out, that you're adapting these comic books that are looked at as trash in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Treating them with some respect.
And treating it with some respect. Yeah, it's interesting.
Right on, man. That sounds like a good time. If people want to join up for that old streaming chat, how can they hang out with the coolest kids?
Yeah, we do it Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do this thing where we're streaming something from the YouTube, and we're chatting on the Discord. I've posted the Discord link a million times. I post it again every Friday on the Facebook and Twitter. So if you want to join us, just pop in on the Discord around 9 o'clock. I'll have the movie link up around 9 o'clock, and then we'll start around 9:10. So get over there. Let's get to chatting.
Get over there and get to chatting and having some drinky drinks. Are you doing some drinky winking during that thing?
I wasn't, because Emily was here, but she wasn't awake, and we were going to partay. So I didn't want to get like drunk before she woke up. But I did drink that night. Yes. A good bit, in fact. We may have gotten a bit drunk.
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, Steve, I think I'm going to raise a toast to that right here and drink myself a birthday beer, what was given to me by our great friends, Lindsay and Thomas. They dropped me off a basket of birthday goodies, which
cool.
Included some pretty amazing stuff. I'll tell you this, Steve. They got me a couple of shampoo bars. That's working pretty well for me.
Shampoo bars? Like bar shampoo?
Yeah,
okay.
It's like a bar that foams up like a son of a bitch, and you rub it on your head. How crazy is that?
I'm for it. Yeah, I'm all about it. So it's eliminating the plastics that you get in most shampoos, which...
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So they got me some of those, which are pretty awesome. Also got a couple of Old Fashions in a bag. They sell an Old Fashioned in a bag, and it's surprisingly good. Yeah, just a bag old-fashioned is what it's called.
Is this like bag milk?
Yeah, it's like Canadian. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I miss bag milk. I liked that about Russia. Bag milk for some reason.
Did they do it over there too?
Yeah. In Europe, it's pretty common. The old bag milk or shelf-stable milk as well.
Ooh, that sounds suspicious.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of shelf-stable. I liked the bag.
And they also got me a couple of co-beers, including that one right there. Ooh, you heard that satisfying little snap of the cap?
Yeah.
That's because I am drinking a quadruple Trappist ale by La Trappe.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, fancy. I've even got this beautiful Ommegang glass I'm pouring this thing in. This promises to be a boozerific Belgian quad, which I look forward to tasting. Yeah, it's at like 10 point something. Yeah, 10%. So it's a pretty big old boy.
Uh-huh.
It smells fabulous. It's got all those spicy, raisiny, boozy notes that a good Belgian has. Let's go in here, just get a little snoot of this right here. You give me some accompaniment music, Steve. Give me some drinking music.
Oh, he's drinking a beer, and he's gonna tell us what it tastes like.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's really, really good. That's extremely good, actually. You know, a lot of those Belgians, especially once you get in that quad and triple, just can get so dessert-y, spicy, spice cakey, you know?
Yeah, uh-huh.
This is pretty fucking nicely balanced. It does have some of that raisiny sweetness to it.
Ooh.
A good balance of spices. Nothing is, like, terribly overpowering. A lot of them just get that, like, coriander punch to the face, you know?
Yeah.
This is pretty nice and balanced. Pretty malty on the back end, too. Pretty malty on the end. Very fucking good, man. I used to just love these Belgian beers and drink them all the time, and nowadays it's a special occasion kind of thing for me, and this is indeed a special occasion.
Yeah, they're a lot. There's a whole lot going on there. I like a Belgian myself, too. I'm having myself a little seltzer water. Let me just get a taste of it.
Oh, yeah? Let's see what that thing does for you.
Oh, man,
Think
that
I'll
tastes...
just stay here and drink. That was my drinking music for you.
It tastes like water with some bubbles in it.
Oh, wow. You don't say the bubbles are in the water.
Within the water itself. Suspended in the very mixture.
How do they do it? Who are the witches and wizards involved in that?
I do not know. I don't know how they do it.
You know what, though? I bet they accomplished that with some sort of ingenious spell. You know, there's all kinds of unique spells in the Harry Potter universe. They're flying all over the place in this flick. You got Accios, you got some Engorgios, you got some unforgivable curses and stuff. There seems to be a curse for just about everything in the Harry Potter world. If you need it, there's a spell for it. But you know what, Steve? There's a few things that I need on a daily basis that I've never seen the Harry Potter universe tackle. I can think of about 5 in specific things that I wish I had a spell for. So I don't know about you, man. I've got a little list of 5 spells that I have created that I could use on a daily basis were I in the Harry Potter universe. You don't happen to have something like that, do you?
It's the weirdest thing. I recently made a list very similar to that.
No.
And I was wanting to share it with you, but off pod. Because it's a real secret. But I guess I will. I guess I'll do it on the pod.
We're sharing and caring guys. So how about we just go ahead and slide on into the preview palace. Bum, 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 trademarks.
You're now in the preview palace.
And let's just talk about 5 Harry Potter style spells that we could use on a daily basis. Steve, why don't you kick us off here? And as you tell us about your spell, I would really like you just to pick up the nearest object and delicately swish and flick.
Well,
and,
I do have a
spell.
chopstick here, so
Perfect.
It is on. It is.
Why don't you cast a spell on me, man? What are you going to hit me with first?
All right, Ben. So here's the thing. Every single meal I eat, it seems, I add hot sauce.
Oh, yeah. You want it to taste like something, so sure.
Absolutely. So wouldn't it be easier than having a whole bunch of bottles sitting around if I could just say, hot sorceress?
Oh, wow. You're a hot sorcerer.
And add hot sauce to my food.
Wow. Would it just like spray out of the wand?
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm imagining it like basically the motion would be the traditional hot sauce motion.
Oh, like you're jiggling the bottle like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then hot sauce.
See, I imagined it like very messy, like you'd swish and flick and then it's just spraying every which way.
I mean,
Maybe
you can do it that way, to as a defense against enemies, perhaps.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could probably come in handy. Or what if it was like an environmental type spell where it would just make rain hot sauce on your food?
I mean, hey, listen, if we want that to happen, we can make it happen. We're wizards, Ben.
We can do what we want.
That's how it works.
That's a pretty valuable spell, man. That's a great low-calorie way to add some flavor to your favorite dishes.
It's true. So Ben, what's your first spell?
Dude, I'll tell you this, man. There's so many times on my day-to-day basis that, I go and I check my social media, I check on the Facebook or whatever.
The social me. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the social me. And dude, what do I see? I see a bunch of people sharing a bunch of bogus-ass information. I know they're not researching it. They just see something. They go, well, that sounds about right. I think I would see Hillary Clinton high-fiving Ted Bundy. Don't vote for her. And then they share a photo or something like that. So in times like that, I wish that I had a spell on hand like this one right here. Factimus Checkicus.
And it just immediately checks the fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would immediately provide a valid fact-checking source so that I could, blow some moron's face off on social media. I think that'd come in handy.
Listen, that is right in line with my next one, which had to do with people spewing fake news, one might say.
Uh-oh,
and
Rita Skeeter
mine
style.
Is, of course, Facus Newsicus.
Yeah, we're clearly on the same wavelength there.
Yeah, mine would just make it like it wouldn't blast like to everybody. Just in their head, they would hear fake news.
Like whenever they said something that was fake,
absolutely
they would hear
made
that.
up bullshit. Yeah, it would just resound in their head, and they'd be like, "Aha! I can't avoid it. I'm lying."
You could even kind of like bring that into the Harry Potter universe a little bit more and make it like whenever somebody gets a howler,
Yeah, there you go.
Like they get an envelope at their doorstep immediately upon sharing some fake news, and that thing just like screams fake news, so everybody knows they're full of shit. That'd be cool.
Absolutely, yeah. You got another one, Ben?
All right, man. I'll tell you this. You know me. I'm always making some videos. I make the videos. I teach the guitar. I put it up on the YouTube, all that stuff.
It's all true.
But dude, man, living down here in the big city like I do and living near a busy street, I can't tell you how many times I've had a perfectly good take where I'm talking some mad guitar shit that gets ruined by some heathen. And I don't use that word lightly. I'm talking heathen.
A real
that drives by with his loud-ass car or loud-ass motorcycle.
Okay.
There's a couple of guys here that have some four-wheelers and a dirt bike that is so loud, it's absolutely unbelievable. And during those times, I wish that I could stand up out of my chair, grab my wand, swish and flick, and incite the incantation, Motorus, quietus!
And it keeps running, but quietly.
Yeah, exactly. It just immediately makes it fucking quiet. Dude, I was thinking about it, though. I was watching these guys like cruise down on their dirt bike and four-wheeler that's, again, it's so loud, it's ungoddamn believable.
Yeah, I believe
They're cruising through yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, like, I would be so embarrassed if that was my mode of transportation. I would actually be driving around everywhere on my loud-ass four-wheeler, and everybody I passed, I would just be going, I'm sorry. Sorry, it's loud. I'm sorry. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe these guys are saying they're sorry the whole time, and I can't hear it over the goddamn loud motors.
That might be happening.
Sorry,
it's so loud.
Sorry for the volume. I can't afford anything else right
now. This is obviously unacceptable.
But I can't hear it because it's too fucking loud.
No, you have no idea what's happening.
Steve, what do you think you're going to ask for your next spell here? What do you got?
Okay, so this is an issue I notice, especially in the South, is the number of people who have dogs that they just leave outside all the time.
Yep, just the old yard dog that just lives, and that's it.
Yep. And so I'm using Canis Protectus, which provides the dog with several charms around them that gives them warmth and the feeling that people actually care about them.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's
because
sweet.
They're too near me in like such proximity that when I'm walking my dog, like I see them and I talk to them because I'm like, I feel bad for this dog. It is outside all the time. At least one of them, I know sometimes they play with it. The other one, I think they just leave outside all the fucking time. And it makes me very upset.
Dogs just want to be our friends, y'all.
That's all they want. They literally just want to hang out and be your friend. And you're just like, oh, no, you're my dog, but you can't go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that's not your friend. That's not your friend right there.
Cool. Yeah.
I think that's a good charm to cast right there. I think there's a lot of canines that could use a little bit of that in their life.
Hell yeah. What you got, Ben?
All right, man. Now, this is one I know. I'll be surprised if this isn't also on your list in some form. Because I know that I've had myself a lot of mornings in my life, especially after I turned 30, where I wake up feeling not so fresh because of all the alcohol I put into my face the night before. I'm talking about your old classic hangover.
Right.
Oh, man. It sure makes it hard to get your day going, get things started, get to work, all that stuff when you got yourself a raging, nasty hangover, especially one of those really unexpected ones where you're like, I didn't even earn this. This sucks.
I had like 2 drinks. Why is this happening?
Oh, my God. That's an after 30 surprise right there. And that's when I really wish I could stand up and look in the mirror and cast Hangoverka Obliteraticus, which would just obliterate my hangover.
I was expecting a potion or some sort. No, it's a spell. It just makes your hangover, like, get the fuck out, I guess. It's like, oh, sorry, shit.
Well, I hear that there is a particular strain of gillyweed out there that upon smoking can remedy some of the side effects.
I didn't know you could smoke gillyweed. Oh, shit.
But that's one I think could definitely come in handy.
Yeah, for sure.
What's next on your list, Steve?
I did have a potion idea, but my idea was essentially that I would make a tincture of marijuana because what the fuck are they doing? Like, there's no mention of drug use at all in Harry Potter. Like, they talk a little bit about drinking.
Yeah. Ogden's Old Fire whiskey and stuff like this.
There you go. And then obviously the luck serum or whatever is just some version of meth with like
just meth.
Yeah, like meth and PCP. It just makes you feel like everything you do is absolutely right.
It might be cocaine, honestly. Just give you that confidence boost that you need. And you're like, I'm the luckiest man in the world.
And that's why they're like, oh, you can't do it too much.
Yeah.
There are wizards out there just fucking slamming that luck potion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I think they're just, they would use some sort of tincture of marijuana, I would assume, regularly, because they don't have the laws against it. Maybe that's why it's not mentioned. Because it's just so
not
common.
Taboo.
Yeah. Maybe. But anyway, so that's my potion, which is a potion that already exists in real life.
Yeah, you can actually do that. You can make that.
What else you got, Ben?
All right, Steve. I know that everybody looks at the life of a so-called content creator and they're like, oh, man, you're so lucky. You just get to make stuff and create things all day. You make videos, you make podcasts, you make art, you make songs. Yeah, all you do, you're just so creative. You just get to do creative stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, you do, and it's awesome.
That's true,
But what people don't know about is all the work on the back end. I'm talking about all the fucking editing that goes into everything.
Yeah, that's the worst part of everything. Yeah.
Dude, it's where like the creative part kind of stops and you're like, oh, I just actually have to get this done. Like last week I just shot a video about my first week with an 8-string. I got this beautiful Skirvison 8-string guitar a week ago, so I made a video about it. And over the course of, the week, like I shot 2 hours and 20 minutes worth of footage. and edited that down to 20, I think it's like 21 minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's hours and hours and hours of editing.
Yep.
Yeah. And same with the podcast. I mean, I edited the first big bunch of episodes for the show. You edit the show now.
Yeah.
The editing takes a long fucking time.
It's very
that's the part that everybody ignores.
A lot of concentration, yeah. And for somebody like me with ADD, it's very complicated. It's a lot of breaks and sitting back down and remembering where you are and then trying to keep your attention on it. It's no fun.
Whew. That's why I wish I could just cast myself a little bit of editorio completicus.
Yes.
And just get the editing part done.
Yes. That sounds amazing. I want this spell to exist.
And I kind of envision it sort of like the dishwashing that happens at the Burrow, where it's just like the pots and pans are being scrubbed by the brush and stuff. Only in this case, it'd be my little cursor flying all over the screen and the buttons on the keyboard getting pressed.
You do have to sit through it happening. I mean, you don't have to actually sit and watch it, but it does happen in real time. So
yeah, exactly.
Your computer is still being used.
Yeah.
You can't be like, also working on another project, because whatever spell you cast has now made the mouse start moving around the screen.
Okay,
and
that could be inconvenient.
Macros are being pushed on the keyboard. I like that.
You try to open up a window to check your email, and just wreaks havoc on your inbox and stuff because it's just blindly going through the commands. Yeah, you definitely cast that one before bed. You know what I mean? Be like,
for sure.
When I wake up, the work will be done. Mission accomplished.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
All right, I think we're down to our last desirable incantations here, Steve.
Yeah.
What do you got? What's the last thing that came to mind for you of a spell you could cast in your life that would really make a difference?
And this may exist. I mean, when J.K. Rowling told us that, I don't know why this came up to her, but that wizards just poop on the floor and make it disappear.
Wait. What?
You haven't heard about this?
No.
That's how they don't have plumbing apparently. Or I don't remember why this brought up, because they do have plumbing. They do have bathrooms. But she said wizards just poop on the floor and make it disappear or whatever, or they poop somewhere and make it disappear. They don't need plumbing.
What? Why does J.K. Rowling keep talking? Quit talking.
She could just shut up. She could just shut up and be a billionaire, and that's it.
Just sit with all your money
and
quit talking.
But my question then was all right, but do they have a spell for wiping? Wipicus! Because I don't like wiping my butt. Who does?
It's so time consuming.
I got other things to do. I don't want to be wiping my butt, and then
you're using resources and all that.
It's a waste. So yeah, I just want to point my wand at my general butthole region, and it, I don't know, shoots out some water. It's a bidet. Bidetus. Bideturus.
You know what, though? Isn't there a part in one of the movies where somebody does spray water out of the end of their wand?
Yes.
For some reason. There's some spell that makes water shoot out the end of your wand.
Yes.
I guess people probably use that to clean the buttholes in that universe,
Isn't it
right?
Aguamente.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So I guess you could just use that one.
Well, let me ask you this, though. I mean, according to the laws of physics, matter cannot be created or destroyed. So
That's
whenever
true.
you displace this shit off your ass, it has to go somewhere. Where is it going to?
So, yeah. in the wizarding world, there must just be a region of shit. Where
Shit
everybody's shit is.
I mean, you could make it fall on one of those, racist rallies where they're blaring some semisonic or something. Just fall somewhere in there.
I think the people that tolerate Slytherin probably aren't very anti-racist.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're
it seems like tolerating Slytherin
we gotta
is just kind of passive
tolerate
racism,
this white supremacist house. It's just gonna happen. We're just gonna have people that think humans and people who aren't very magical should just die, and that's fine.
That does seem to be kind of a thing, just sort of some passive, racism that happens by people who tolerate a Slytherin, right?
Yeah.
Hey, not all Slytherins. There's good people on both sides here.
Right, yeah. That's a good point. Oh, man. Those good Slytherins.
Hashtag not all Slytherins. Please don't make that a thing. Please don't make that a thing.
But also kind of do.
Yeah.
Who would it be? What's the not all Slytherins? I've actually I've given up on defensive Snape at this point. I think Snape is not a hero because he was a creep.
He did some creeping.
He was a creep. He wasn't like Lily Potter was fucking married and dude's still creeping on her.
Creeping.
He was a creep and he treated Harry like shit.
I was gonna say Slughorn. Slughorn was a Slytherin, but he also was that kind of
piece of shit.
Creepy guy that's just like, I want little kids to adore me.
Yeah,
here's some candy.
To adore me. I am narcissistic enough to convince myself that a thing that absolutely did happen didn't happen.
Yeah. He's a definite white panel van driver. I'm pretty sure. Yep. I think that was his mode of transportation in the Muggle world is white panel van.
Yeah, but there's a concept. There's just this concept among the wizarding world that has to be accepted. We just have to accept it. We don't even have to teach them differently.
That's true.
What?
They're not trying to exactly slow that train down, are they?
Not at all. No, they're just like, yeah, it's fine. Duh.
Just let it run its course, I guess.
Yep. Maybe they'll end up killing a whole bunch of Muggles. Who knows?
Who knows? It's just their way.
Right.
All right, Steve, are you ready for me to lay down my last incantation on you?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is one from the very depths. I mean, this is one right here that is... It's probably in one of those spell books in the forbidden section of the library. This is probably one of those ones that's like, you're not ready for this. You can't handle this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to drop the name on you first because it's not really going to reveal what the spell does because it's some deep-cut Latin that my wife and I looked up.
All right.
I'm just going to say I could really use the spell of Corpusculus Saccare in my life. Because basically that from Latin would translate into cut my fingernails.
Oh, man, yes. Oh, absolutely.
Dude, they grow so fast. My nails grow so fucking fast.
It feels like I'm cutting them every other day, and it's just a stupid fucking chore.
Especially the toenails. The toenails are the worst. The worst, man. Every time. Dude, I know I've said this exact same thing on the show. I get into bed, I feel them toenails scratching on the sheets, and I'm like, is it seriously time for this shit again? Again with this? I can't tell you, dude, how many times I sit down to be like, time to play guitar, time to make this guitar video, or teach lessons or whatever.
Oh, my fingernails are too long.
Yeah, dude, I sit down, my fucking fingernails are touching the fretboard beyond the strings, even though they didn't yesterday. Because my nails grow so fucking fast. If I could just have a little spell I could toss around just to take care of those things so I could get along with my fucking work, man, I'd love it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. That I hate it. I also get ingrown toenails.
Ooh,
if I'm not very careful. So
me too. I'm very prone to it.
I just don't like the hassle of it. Just a spell would be. It really does seem like the thing we want most out of our spells is convenience.
Absolutely, it's just convenience-based stuff. Things that bother me, take care of that, please.
Yeah, please fix this.
I love that there's people listening right now being like, "You didn't wish for a spell that could create money." Or anything like that. It's like, nah, get rid of my hangover and cut my toenails. I get back to work.
Sauce. What am I gonna? I mean, not paying for all that expensive toilet paper now. What?
I'm fine, really. I can't think of much to complain about. What would I do with all that money anyway, right?
Right.
Well, you guys be sure to let us know what valuable spells you'd like to have in your life over on the Facebook page at
Facebook.com/Dead and Lovely.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of cool kids over there. We're signing up new people left and right, to and fro.
True.
Everybody's hanging out, talking about all the coolest stuff happening in the horror realm, and just generally cutting up and having ourselves a good old time. So be sure to go and check that Facebook page out. All right, Steve, it's time to get down to business. We're like an hour in right now, and it's time to start talking about this motherfucking movie, Harry Potter 4 and the Goblet of Fire.
The Goblet of Fire.
I wish it was Goblet of Fire Festival. Would that not be a cooler movie?
Yeah. It just shows them sitting in the dining hall, and they all just have that plate of like, what was it? It was like bologna on bread.
Yeah. Although, honestly, from what I can tell from this Triwizard Tournament, it's run about as good as Fire Fest.
Yeah, about the same. About the same, yeah.
Same level of organization and safety, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, this book is one of the best of the series.
Maybe my favorite.
And still at the center of it is why the fuck they would do this.
Still, yeah,
it's like,
there's that, yeah.
I mean, I'll buy into it for the story, but it makes no sense. I mean, even in the history that she provides in the book, they say that, like, they haven't done it in like 200 years because it was too unsafe and people died like left and right. So, like, I didn't understand the concept behind this.
No, huh? Well, especially considering like these are kids that are just trying to go to school.
Yeah, and shit has happened the last 3 years. Like, crazy fucking shit.
Yeah, let's just throw gasoline on top of this, too, and add in a tournament that might result in some teen casualties.
Yeah, this all makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you come back to it, Dumbledore's a terrible headmaster.
He's not very good.
He's
not very good at it.
It's true. This job. He's constantly putting these kids in danger for no reason.
Extremely poor judge of character with all those Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers. Very bad judge of character.
Very bad judge of character. Just terrible at this, and it really doesn't seem very good at magic, since he's the one who put all the charms and stuff on the goblet, and still Barty Crouch Jr. got through.
That's a good point.
Couldn't he have put a charm on there that you can't put in someone else's name? Wouldn't that have been something you thought of if you are limiting the age of the people putting in their name?
That seems like a pretty good idea. Yeah, now that you mention it, that would be a good little line to put in the old spell there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So the book, great, but the whole central premise of it is so questionable. And then turning it into a movie.
Woo!
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that got changed around. Like you said, the fourth book is maybe my favorite. I really love the fourth book because there's so much going on. There's so many like little subplots.
It's the last joyful one, I think.
It is. It's also the last one that's kind of fun, you know? So I've always loved the book, and I think that did sort of mess with my expectations and adoration of this movie, because other than the first movie, which I've watched like a billion times, it's just one of those ones I always have on in the background while I do other stuff. This is probably the second most watched one for me.
Yeah, me too.
But that being said, it's also been a really, really long time since I just sat down and watched it as a movie, and thought to myself, if I didn't know the book, would this make any fucking sense at all?
Well, I saw it without knowing the book.
Oh, okay.
And it made just fine sense.
Okay, it was close enough. All right, so all the little details that the fans know about didn't necessarily
none of that changed anything. Yeah, the story, I remember being like, oh, okay. Like, just because I had seen the first three and I enjoyed the movies. So I watched the fourth one, and I was like, sure, fine. I didn't really understand the third one. This one makes more sense than that.
It kind of does, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there's sort of less loose ends in this than that third one did. Listen to our Azkaban episode that we did last year for more on that. We picked that thing apart pretty good. But ultimately, at the same time, it's like, even though this might make more sense as a story, not much story, really, in this movie.
No, the whole story is just the tournament. That's why, if you haven't read the book, it works just fine. But if you have read the book, you're like, wait, where's the story? Because the story is completely left out. It's just the tournament.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, man. So this is the first time that I've really just sat down and watched it from start to finish, and I think it kind of has changed my opinion on where this one sort of falls in my hierarchy, or perhaps I should say lowarchy. of where this thing fits into the entire Harry Potter series for me. I mean, there's things that I like about it. I will say up front, I'll try to get some good stuff out here at the front. I think it's the best looking movie in the series.
Yeah, the aesthetic is great, yeah.
Right? Because like the first two, very simple, very childish, suited the tone very nicely. Christopher Columbus did a great job with that. Wouldn't have worked for the whole series. The third one just took this immediate 180 detour, got super dark.
Which was cool.
It was cool, but man, what a sudden turn.
It was a huge turn, yeah.
Last year was the fucking Chamber of Secrets, and then you get into this super dark Alfonso Cuarón world where...
Well, Chamber of Secrets should have been darker than it was.
It should have been.
That book is pretty dark.
It does get kind of dark.
Yeah.
So this one here kind of splits the difference, and everything after this kind of gets back to the dark sort of tone and everything.
Yeah, 5 is very dark. Yeah.
Very dark, yeah. So I really like the look of this movie. I think that it preserves a little bit of the joy and whimsy of the wizarding world. I think that there's some really great sets and costumes, and even the designs of the things like the dragons, I think are fantastic. So it's probably the best looking movie in the series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say that's true, and it definitely has like other aesthetic choices going for it that I enjoyed. I liked how they did the robes and stuff. I liked that they're, the way they're dressed like normal people, which is sort of a carryover from the third, but they just basically stay dressed like normal people most of the time.
Yeah, and the school uniforms are less like roby. They're more like British school uniforms, like button-up shirts and vests and stuff like that. They look more like school uniforms. Yeah,
it works so much better than the way it's described in the books. The way it's described, I just don't. I think if you're going to have a completely detached magical world, it makes no sense that pretty regularly Muggle-born children come to this magic school and don't bring any of their outside technology and shit. It's just weird to me. So, like, I think this embraces that idea a little bit more. It has that feel of like, it would probably be a little bit more of a normal school, even though they are witches and wizards. Yeah.
I'll say also in the win category, we got some new characters here, and I think the casting choices for characters like Mad-Eye Moody and Rita Skeeter, I think are fantastic.
Miranda Richardson, she does a great job.
Absolutely killer, man. I got to thinking about it too, and I was like, we've talked about her on the Sleepy Hollow episode because she was like in that. She's like, I sold my soul to Satan. She's awesome.
I love her in that. I also
and Brendan Gleeson, Mad-Eye Moody, fucking awesome.
Yeah, I also like Clemence Posey as Fleur Delacour.
Oh, actually, she's really good.
And I think she does. She's able to shine more in the. I guess it's the last film or second to last film. Because
when they kind of decide to bring that character back,
they don't have her do much in this.
Not really. She loses a lot of contests. That's kind of it.
Well, and that's from the book, and I got a problem with that. I got a problem with this. Okay, so in the magic world, there is no reason why a man would be stronger magically than a woman.
It doesn't seem that way, no.
JK's choice for the competitors in the Triwizard Tournament are 3 jock males and then 1 woman who loses everything.
I mean, Harry Potter's not a jock, but the other two...
He kind
of is. He's a fucking... he plays Quidditch and stuff. Yeah, so he is. Okay.
He's a jock. I mean, he's the team captain of the Quidditch team eventually, who grows up to be a cop. Like the idea that Harry is even close to her in their level of popularity shown throughout the story and stuff is ridiculous, because like she just is there as like a token woman almost. It's really bad female character writing.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason why she would be any less good at magic than them, or why they would be better. They're jocks. Harry's terrible at magic.
Yeah, he's just overall bad at it. Yeah, that's not a hidden thing at all.
Yeah. So the fact that he's better than her, and she even does poorly with the worst dragon. Like, it's almost like J.K. Rowling is shitting on her. She gets the easiest dragon to deal with, and then gets embarrassed by the dragon catching her dress on fire. Like,
she also doesn't even manage to save her sister.
Right. It really is like, weak woman. Like, that's what... I don't get that. I don't get why you don't make... Because to me, what you do, if you want to show, one, that this is an equal world, which it should be. Minerva McGonagall is as much of a wizard as, what's his name? Albus Dumbledore. Then Fleur Delacour, it would make more sense to me if you make Fleur Delacour the Cedric Diggory. Like, you make her be the one
athlete.
That he's fighting, like, neck and neck against, and also maybe even like they have some commonality. Like, maybe he does try to help her sister, but she, they stop him, and she sees that and recognizes it, but still saves her sister, doesn't fail at the very task that she's given. Like, I just don't understand why you write that character so weak.
You know what? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because J.K. Rowling is also French phobic. It's a jab at the French.
I would believe that, actually. I would believe that.
I mean, the English, the French. Come on, man. They kind of go way back.
That. But here's what I think. And I feel free, please, to correct me. I am a white man talking about this. I am coming from a huge position of privilege. Maybe I don't understand. But I'm looking back at all of J.K. Rowling's female characters and noticing that the one trait of women that she seems to valorize and put above all other traits is mothering. And the best characters are mothers, and the worst characters are those who reject it. Bellatrix Lestrange.
The best would be like Molly Weasley.
Lily,
yes. Obviously.
Yes. I mean, just think about it. Okay, so Harry's obsessed with his mother. Constantly thinking about his mother. He's interested in Ginny because she reminds him of his mother. Isn't that a part of it? I remember. He is constantly looking for a mother figure, which he finds in every older woman that he runs to in the wizarding world. All of them immediately become these mothering figures, except for
he's a lost little orphan kid. Yeah,
except for Rita Skeeter and Bellatrix Lestrange. They're shown as the two villainous female characters, and it really does come down to them not treating children as special.
Okay. I hadn't thought about it that way.
So, and we were talking about this before. I just want to go through some of the female characters to just sort of prove my point.
All right, lay them on me, because this is an angle I hadn't considered.
Number one most important female character, Hermione.
Yeah, of course. And she's a badass, super smart, great at magic.
Absolutely. 100% amazing. Spends her entire time taking care of two boys who are her age, who should be able to take care of themselves. But she has to take care of them. She marries a perpetual boy child, Ron. She voluntarily becomes a mother to a husband. Then they have kids, where she is again a mother. And then eventually, this is in the Lost Child. What is that last one? The play that they did?
Yeah, what was that called? Something child? Cursed Child, I think.
Cursed Child. She eventually becomes Minister of Magic in 2019. So, this is a little silly. Minister of Magic, MOM. She becomes the mother of the magic world in England. So she is very much focused towards mothering, despite the fact that she is amazing at everything she does and should be the central character because she's the one who gets everything fucking done.
Sure.
Molly Weasley, as we said, her entire identity is about mothering. She get away from her, you bitch, or whatever she says about Bellatrix Lestrange attacking Ginny. Like, she steps in and mothers in that immediate moment and is constantly a mother throughout to Harry.
What if
to everyone.
The initial line was actually "Step away, anti-mom"?
That's probably what she was thinking. McGonagall, same thing. She acts like a mother towards Harry throughout the entire series. In fact, whenever they come back with Harry's seemingly dead body, she's the first one to cry out, because she's just so invested in this child. Other villainous woman who we're seeing as a villain because of her unmothering character presence with Harry, and that is his aunt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she is a villain because she refuses to be a mother to this child. Narcissa Malfoy.
That's another one I was trying to think of, yeah.
Yeah, is redeemed in the end because she's a good mother.
I guess so.
She and her husband are white supremacists. I mean,
they are.
They are Death Eaters. They were housing Voldemort and the Death Eaters. They were taking care of the Death Eaters. In the final moment, when they saw that they couldn't win, they escaped with their son. They're completely redeemed because she's a good mother.
They probably keep on being racist and stuff afterwards.
Yeah, nothing changed. Why would it change? Nothing is gonna. What do they have to change? There's no reason for them to change. There are no consequences for what they've done. But
it may be no coincidence that whole family is Aryan as well.
Yep. It really does just seem to come down to the to be a good female character in a J.K. Rowling book means to be a good mother or to have good mother traits.
I'm gonna have to ponder on that a little bit. That's kind of interesting.
I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, if she hadn't started her crazy anti-trans shit, I wouldn't have ever started looking at. Wait, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's not the best actor. Maybe she is not trying to convince children that it's okay to be you, and embracing who you are is most important. And then I realized that Harry Potter's entire goal throughout the books is to be normal.
Okay. So in other words, not to be the super special mega wizard or anything like that.
Right. He doesn't want that. He wants
even though he's
be
the chosen
normal.
one.
Yep. He wants to be normal. He wants to be a normal, everyday guy. The normal, everyday guy who's the most popular kid in school and the most popular athlete and also becomes a cop.
Just kind of average in school.
Average, normal, everyday stuff. Yeah. It presents this like super heteronormative white male dream of being the norm.
Yeah, and marrying your high school sweetheart.
And everybody, of course, marries their high school sweetheart. That's how it works.
Is Harry Potter a Bruce Springsteen song?
he may be a John Cougar Mellencamp song.
Okay, that might be more like it. Yeah.
I'm starting to see that, like, okay, if she is so close-minded on this, I'm starting to close off the options for what she may have been intending. I'm starting to see, oh, maybe she didn't intend all the good things that we've all projected onto Harry Potter for so long. Maybe those things that we've dismissed for so long, like the happy slave elves, really do need to be addressed as what they are. And that is a British woman growing up knowing, well, I mean, she's Scottish, I guess. UK woman.
A UK person, yeah.
A UK person growing up knowing the cultural history of the British going in and enslaving people, and the idea of these characters that have been shown in books and plays throughout to try to back up that slavery is okay by showing that slaves are actually happy doing what they're doing.
Yeah, that was a lot of propaganda back in the day.
Like, we were all willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think we can do that anymore. I think we have to recognize that she might really believe that there's some happiness in slavery and that people would be happier being slaves.
I'll say that I don't miss the spew element, or the House Elf Liberation Front sort of element from the book. That is absent in the movie. I'm going to say that was a good cut for a lot of reasons. I mean, for one, because that never really comes back and means anything in the other books.
Doesn't it seem in the books? It seemed to me that the narrator, at the very least, is mocking Hermione for espousing these beliefs. Like,
yeah, because it kind of seems like it's like she's trying to fucking free these things. She's wasting her time. What a dum-dum.
Yep. It seems like the book is showing her as like a mockable figure for caring about this thing.
Just another SJW.
Of course they love it. Yeah. I don't know, man.
The whole house elf thing is I even remember, like, when I read the book and stuff back in the day, it is kind of problematic, where this whole time, you find out that, well, the food that you see up at the grand tables and stuff in the Great Hall, like, it has to come from somewhere, and it's because there's these slave elves that are working in the kitchen 24/7 that get no pay, and they offer them, well, I think at the very end Dumbledore like gives Dobby like a day off a month, and he asked if he could not even have that because he just loves work so much.
Oh, please don't make me take a day off.
It's
like, good God,
kind of weird.
I don't know, man. I just don't know if I can give her the benefit of the doubt on any of this anymore, because
it casts things in a different light. Yeah,
it does. And like, if you go and look at her essay, and if you read her essay and you come out thinking, oh, she's not anti-trans, read perspectives from trans people and really look at what she's saying, because she has some platitudes in there where it seems like maybe she's saying she's not anti-trans, but then she goes right back to anti-trans talking points over and over and over. And it really does seem like this just ridiculous concept that someone would pretend to be trans to steal the benefits of womanhood. Like, oh boy, you know what would be great? To go from my position of power as a male to a trans woman.
Yeah, to being one of the most scrutinized and ridiculed people in the entire spectrum of humanity.
Yeah.
Just so I can butt in on what women are doing. Worth it.
Yeah, so the mind that believes that's the way people operate is the type of mind that I believe does think that there must be people out there who really just love slavery.
That love being enslaved.
Yep.
I mean, when you look at it that way, it does kind of make you reconsider some things that you might have seen in the books, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Anyway, back to the movie that's not good.
Hey! So this was not directed by the same guy that did the third one?
No, it is directed by Mike Newell, who directed Donnie Brasco. Pretty good movie. Mona Lisa Smile. He's directed some movies. The writer is Steve Kloves, who wrote most of the movies.
Yeah, I thought so.
He did not think this could be one movie. So
he wanted to split this thing up.
Yeah, he wanted it to be two movies because, there's a ton of story in here.
Well, the thing is, too, is like, even if you just look at the bigness of the third book compared to this one, I mean, it doubled in size. The fourth book is ginormous.
It's gigantic,
The fifth one is
the largest,
bigger. Yeah, so I think if you would have done this as two movies, it kind of would have set a precedent of like, well, I guess all of them from here on out are going to be 2 or 3 movies each, too. And then by the time you get to the end, the kids are in their fucking 30s, Yeah,
that would have sucked. Yeah, that definitely would have been a bad idea. But I do think if your writer is saying, I think this has to be 2 movies, get a different writer if you're going to make it be one movie.
maybe take a different perspective on it and figure out a way to make this work, right?
Exactly, because it is possible to make this work with more of the story, and I just don't think Steve Kloves was up to that task. Not that Steve Kloves doesn't do great with all the other ones that he wrote. It's just that I think he was saying to them, I don't think I can do it, and they were like, yeah, but do it anyway.
So go ahead and do it then, right? Am I right?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to do that when you could. I mean, it's at that time, this was the biggest franchise out there. This is 3 years before Iron Man. Like, this is the biggest franchise out there. You could go out and get a writer to come in and write this as one movie.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I don't get is, like, you can look at the first or second movie and be like, well, they kind of under-budgeted this or that, but you're like, well, they didn't know this was going to be a ginormous, historic series of movies, but it's like, by the time this fourth one rolled around, like, Harry Potter Mania was in full global swing. I mean, it was gigantic, so maybe this is where you start really putting some work into making sure these things turn out right. I don't know. I'm sure that the director did tons of research and, like, read the book and stuff, right? No, I don't think he did.
No. This is also like, I read the books the summer after this movie came out.
Okay.
So this one, it was like a kind of enticement to read the book because I remember so many people being like, oh, like, there's so much more in the book and all that. And, like, I did like this when I hadn't read the books. I did like this movie a lot more. But with time, having watched it and knowing the book, it's real hard to like this movie or enjoy watching it. Like, right? I'm out of it entirely. And then, J.K. Rowling being terrible on Twitter and everywhere else makes it joyless, kind of.
Sorta. Yeah, because like it's like you said, there's a lot of stuff that's missing from the book. Some of it is okay. I mean, it's like I'm not mad that they again cut out the house elf stuff, even though that does compromise the whole storyline of, like, Dobby and Winky the house elf and her being enchanted and the wand and all that stuff. Like, it does totally minimize all of that plot, which was a big part of the book. Like, there's so much stuff in the book that's like this mystery of, like, who cast the dark mark at the fucking tournament and stuff.
But then in the movie, it's like, well, we see who cast the dark mark. Yeah, we
fucking see it.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff that they did change from the book that I'm just like, why? Like, why do we see Barty Crouch Jr. in the intro? Like, this is supposed to be a big mystery. He's supposed to be dead.
I reread the intro as well because I was like, I don't think he's in the intro in the book, and he's not. It's just Wormtail and Voldemort and Nagini, and then the farmer.
Yeah, why is he there?
I think that is actually an okay move because if he showed up later, it would be a little like, who's this now? Like, we know he's with Voldemort. Though, I guess when he casts the Dark Mark, we would know that as well. So you don't really need him in the opening.
No, Well, the thing is, too, though, is that kind of like, who the hell is this guy sort of factor that would have been introduced if he just sort of showed up, midway through the movie, like we're talking about, is also amplified by the fact that Barty Crouch Sr. is so underdeveloped in this. Like, you don't learn anything about the guy, other than the fact that he looks like Hitler.
He looks so much like Hitler that I could have sworn this guy played Hitler at some point, but he didn't.
Dude, that's what I was thinking about, is like, while this guy was getting ready for this role, and like during filming and stuff like this, when he had to grow a mustache, then shave it down into a Hitler stash.
Yeah.
This guy was going around everywhere and being like, I'm sorry, it's for a role. I'm sorry, I'm doing this for a part in a movie. Everybody's like, so you're playing Hitler, right? And he's like, no.
Have you
How
read the Harry
is that
Potter
conversation?
books?
But dude, here's what I don't understand. Is like, I realize that in the book, they refer to Barty Crouch Sr. as having a bottle brush mustache. That is code for Hitler mustache, obviously.
Right.
But considering that they took such liberties with the appearance of the characters, as for one, to make the Dursleys all dark-headed, and then to even take away simple fun flourishes like the fact that what's his name is supposed to have a lime green bowler hat, right?
Right.
They just gave him a regular old black hat as the Minister of Magic and stuff.
Hat,
yeah. Why not take this guy's Hitler stash off? Because he fucking looks like Hitler in this movie.
Yeah, it's a good call to just take that stash and get rid of it.
I think so.
I don't know why you do that. It just doesn't make sense.
And why is he so weird? Like that part where he's announcing the rules of the tournament and stuff. He's got like his arms held out in like a cruciform sort of stance, and his hands are kind of like grabbing at invisible things that aren't there. It's really strange, and his accent is super fucking weird, and you just never learn anything about him. Like, there's nothing to his character, so that even when he dies, it's like, well, he's not in the movie anymore, I guess.
Yeah,
so
you could entirely eliminate the character from the movie and not change much of anything.
No, because honestly, there's not really that much impact when you learn. It's like, oh, he threw his own son, Barty Crouch Jr., into prison in this flashback scene.
I don't know anything about either one of them, so okay.
So who cares? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, does it really matter all that much? You've got Karkaroff like ratting him out and stuff. That it's the judge, it's the judge's son did this stuff, but it's totally not developed. And also too, like in the book, the whole mystery of Barty Crouch Jr. was that he was supposed to be dead. Like he wasn't supposed to be in jail. He was supposed to be dead. Mm-hmm. So it was this like, oh shit, like he has been disguising himself as Mad Eye Moody this whole time and stuff. But in this, there's no mystery to where he is or his whereabouts or anything. I mean, they're constantly showing you him in the flashbacks. And then even whenever Mad Eye Moody shows up, he's doing that same like tongue flick thing. They make a real big point of showing you that every time Barty Crouch Jr. is on screen, he's doing this like snake-like tongue flick, which I appreciate that amount of physical characterization.
Yeah.
But as many times as they show it to us and as many times as they show Mad Eye Moody doing it, and at that end, they mention like, oh, somebody in the school's making Polyjuice Potion. Hey, Polyjuice Potion. You ever heard of Polyjuice Potion? I've heard about Polyjuice Potion. Here's the ingredients for Polyjuice Potion that got stolen. It's just like, okay, I fucking get. And you're showing us Mad Eye Moody drinking mysterious fluid the whole time.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking easy to figure out.
It is. I mean, I don't think that most of the film works as a story. I just think I think maybe when I watched it and enjoyed it, it was just the aesthetic, and I think the ending is done well.
I'll also put that in the win column. Like, which I can also see a little bit of criticism for in a way, because basically after Harry and Cedric, hit that port key at the end and they get transported to the graveyard, the tonal shift is a complete 180. It's gigantic. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's like so far in the movie, you've had kids flying away from dragons and there's mermaids and yada yada. And then it's like, and then suddenly this guy's cutting his hand off, murdering a teenager. Yeah. There's this like Aphex Twin looking come to daddy creature that emerges from a cauldron. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of just like super fucking dark stuff. The Death Eaters
look insane too.
They look dope. Yeah. I like the skull face and the costumes, and even the way they fly in. And also too, like I really love the effect that they chose to use where, again, you have the come to daddy Aphex Twin, skeletal Voldemort come out of the cauldron.
Yeah.
And then, like, the cauldron itself becomes his robe. That's cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I agree.
Very sudden shift, but it looks good.
Yeah, and then, like, when they come back from the port key, like, the way that's all played, where we see Cedric dead, but we hear everybody cheering. Yeah,
it's
all
very
done
dramatic.
super well.
It is.
So there are really good moments of it. I think it just way too rushed. It doesn't condense the story in a way that actually tells a story.
Yeah.
There are just a lot of problems with it for sure.
And this is also the first time that we're introduced to Ralph Fiennes?
Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes.
Uh-huh.
as Voldemort, which I feel like even the return of Voldemort is pretty underplayed in the movie. Like, in the book, it's like Harry's having dreams of that flashback with Nagini and stuff, and it's like, it seems like Voldemort is back.
Yeah, there's a huge build-up in the book. In the movie, it's like, yeah, we just get that opening scene. And I guess there are just so many assumptions throughout this movie that you just know the stuff. Like, you probably have read the book.
Or you have a friend that's read the book. Like, anything that you're sitting in the theater watching when this came out and you're confused about,
you just turn to your friend. Yeah.
Yeah, your Potter buddy is there telling you, that's because this happened in the past and blah, blah, blah.
Right. And then you're like, oh, I'll read the book. That's what happened to me. It worked.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, and then the thing is, too, is you got to think, like, if all that you've done is watch the movies, the last time that you've seen Voldemort in the first movie was in the back of a guy's head.
Yeah.
In the second movie, he was a hunky boy ghost in a book.
Right.
In the third movie, he's Sir Not Appearing, of course.
Yeah.
And then in this, he's like a fucking aborted fetus guy.
Right.
That should be a pretty big deal that he has corporeal form and he seems to be back, but that's pretty underplayed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just not, it's not the focus of the film. It's not even really on the radar most of the time. I think it's focused on the Triwizard Tournament. It's focused on that extremely long dragon scene. It's just so long.
It's very long. It takes up so much of the movie, dude.
Yeah.
What do you think about Rafe as Voldemort, though? This is the first time we get to see him as the Dark Lord.
I like him. He's so like theatrical about it, but like I think that actually fits with the way Voldemort's written. Voldemort seems like one of those narcissistic, theatrical type of guys.
I can see that.
Yeah, where he would really, really chew the scenery if he were a real person. So I think that he's doing that from a reading of the book. I wish he was a little more, I don't know, he's menacing, but he's not really intimidating to me.
I know what you mean. There's something about it that I gotta admit, I've never really liked the way that Voldemort is characterized in the fourth movie on. Like, I thought that even in the first movie, even though the CG was kind of, millennial crap, like, the way that his face looked in the back of dude's head, I thought looked pretty cool. But there's just something about the way that I think his face looks that I've never exactly loved.
Yeah.
Like, I can never ignore the fact that this is clearly a guy who has had his nose removed in CG.
Yeah.
And also, too, this is just a minor critique, I guess, and maybe I'm totally off base from the book's description of Voldemort. I can't remember. For one, there's constant reminders that Voldemort speaks in a high, cold voice. Like, I always imagine Voldemort's voice as being like a high whisper, like wispy,
like he's doing early in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
when he's like doing that Voldemort. Weak sort of voice. Yeah.
Yeah, and like even his physique is so. I mean, Ray Fiennes, he's a dude. Like, he's got a man body.
Yeah,
I always imagine Voldemort would be more thin and wispy or something.
I actually think, now that like I think about it a little bit, that Eddie Redmayne might be able to play the role well. I think he has the physique and sort of weird look that I always got from reading about Voldemort. That Voldemort, I like Ray Fiennes. His features are too pretty, maybe.
Right. And he's also, to me, just too old. Like, he looks like an aged man, and to me, Voldemort should have a sort of, like, let's even say, like, elf-like quality, like the elves in Lord of the Rings, where it's just like, they don't age. Because he's Voldemort. He has literally flee from death. He has spent his entire cursed existence trying to flee from death. So I always just kind of imagined he would be stuck in a eternally ageless sort of state rather than looking like a grown-ass man. Does that make sense?
I mean, he is. How old is he when he starts making his Horcruxes? He's like 16 or 17, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
maybe younger when he kills that kid out in the cave and stuff. I think it's younger than that. I think he's more like 13 or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. So, like, it would seem like he would come back more youthful. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I always just thought of him as like hideous, but not like, I never really thought about his age.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'd be no reason why he would I don't know. I will just agree that I think Voldemort could be played better by someone else, for sure. Not that Ralph Fiennes does a bad job. It's just I don't think he just doesn't. He's not the Voldemort I was imagining reading the book.
Yeah, me too. And maybe he is exactly what other people were imagining, and this is just an us problem or something. But
and
maybe
he's
I'm
amazing
still hoping.
Actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still hoping that one day we get a full-on BBC series.
Oh, that'd be great.
That takes years to complete and is done just like the books and stuff.
I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, though.
No, not considering.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and you know what, Steve? This is what leads me to say once again. This is why you never get a tattoo devoted to a certain creator of content that you like until they are dead. Just
don't do it. Don't ever do it. I don't. I've talked about it before. There was the Pepe the Frog comes from a comic strip that is in no way alt-right at all.
Yeah.
And there's a Key and Peele sketch where he's playing like the fat nerdy character that he played, Wendell, I think is his name. Oh
yeah, dude.
And in the background there's the Pepe the Frog, but this was like pre-alt-right thing. It's like you could have had a tattoo of that frog before the alt-right took it, and now you've got an alt-right tattoo. Like
yeah. Dude, it's like seriously, imagine being alive in like the 1930s and 40s and like maybe you've gone on some kind of like big spiritual quest to Nepal or something like that. You've seen the symbol of the swastika and you're like, this defines my life.
Beautiful.
I'm going to get this tattooed on my fucking right hand.
Yep.
And then Hitler comes along and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah. I think always best to go with something some idea you've come up with on your own and you've talked with your tattoo artist about and had them draw something up. You never know what's going to happen.
You never
know. Yeah.
And that being said, I know that there are people right now listening to this that have a cool Deathly Hallows tattoo or something like that. And I would advise them to stick with what Daniel Radcliffe said, where he's like, don't lose the things that made these books special to you and the significance and morality you found in them just because of this person's statements. Keep the meaning alive in your heart, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't lose the good things that you've gotten out of this, but I see no reason to step in and argue for JK. Yeah. Keep seeing that on Twitter, people stepping in and arguing with like to try to be like she's done so much, and it's like, well, you can do so much and then turn. Like you don't get to do good things for a little bit and then be an asshole and it's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really erase those things works. Like that. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this too, Steve. So in the movie here, the intro is very different from the book. Now, of course, in the book, we have the intro scene with the housekeeper and all that jazz. But then we're treated to Harry being back at his usual place, back at the Dursleys. And there's a very entertaining scene.
He's not at the Dursleys, is he? He's
in the book.
In the book. Yes. Sorry.
And the Weasleys come and like pick him up, and it's super entertaining because like they're trying to use the phone, they're trying to like mail letters. All that is like really funny, and that sort of ends up with the whole tongue toffee scenario there, where we're kind of getting hints that the twins, the Weasley twins, are going to start their joke shop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what's his name? Dudley becomes yet again another victim of that. In the movie, we just start off at the Burrow, and personally, I just kind of think that's okay. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, I missed the intro, but to me, even I remember when I was reading the books, I got to this point in the books where I was like, okay, he starts off at the Dursleys, they really hate him, it's going to be a struggle to get to school this year, and then, let's see, some sort of, heinous charm is going to be inflicted on the Dursleys, because in the first one it was the pigtail.
Yeah.
And then we had the, Marge blowing up like a balloon thing and yada, yada, yada. It's just kind of like getting to the point where it's like, okay, and something bad's going to happen. I get it. The Dobby dropped the pudding on dude's head at the house party and stuff. So at this point, I was kind of getting bored of that routine anyway. So to me, them starting off at the Burrow, I was kind of fine with. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, fine with it. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't. I don't enjoy the concept that the wizards are so detached from the regular world that they just don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense because so much of the regular world would be a convenience to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I get you've got the flu network, but guys, phones, way easier.
It's pretty easy.
You don't have to
stick
stick your head into a fireplace.
How do you like that effect of Sirius's face in the fireplace, by the way? You're not into
terrible.
it? Yeah?
It's terrible. Because it's nothing like it's described in the book, and then it's just also like, it doesn't look great.
I think it's kind of neat, but then at the same time, it is nothing like the book, and also you can't really tell that that's Gary Oldman. And also, like, his voice sounds all fucked up. He's like, like, I'm burning alive in charcoal right now to tell you this.
Or more like, I couldn't come into the recording studio. We're doing this over the phone.
Yeah, so just doctor the audio up or something.
Yeah,
and make
literally
it sound like
phoning it
fire.
in, yes.
And Sirius Black is very, very underused in this too, because he's basically there just to feed more into red herring fodder of warning him about Barty Crouch and Igor Karkaroff. Karkaroff in this, needlessly shady. What the fuck are they doing with that guy?
I don't know what they're doing at all with the whole thing. It's like someone was like, I vaguely understand what Eastern Europe is. It's like Germany, right?
Okay,
like,
here's a problem too. So whenever Dumbledore is introducing the schools, which we'll talk about those school intros here in a second, he welcomes Durmstrang as our friends from the north.
Right.
What is north of the UK? Are they coming from fucking Greenland? What's happening?
They would have to be coming from some far north city in Russia, is what I assumed. Or Finland, perhaps. I don't know where Durmstrang's supposed to be located, though it's a German name.
Europe, I guess. They're just European.
Yeah, that's it. It's vaguely European and then very specifically French. Like, that's how they did Durmstrang and Beauxbaton.
But what's with Karkaroff, dude? There's this one scene in there where like the whole movie you're getting these warnings about his past and how he was a Death Eater, blah, blah, blah. And then there's that one scene where they specifically show, after they've announced the goblet and the rules and all that jazz, remember he sneaks into the goblet room late at night, looks around to make sure nobody's watching, closes the door behind him, and then the next day Harry's name is drawn. What the fuck was going on there? Why even show us that? Because that clearly... didn't lead to Harry's name getting put in.
Scene at all.
What was he doing in there?
Jerking it, probably.
It's just like, it seems like a good quiet place to go and have a jerk.
Yeah. I mean, jerk off into the goblet. Maybe he's got a thing.
He loves, he's a pyrophile. He's sexually attracted to fire.
Oh, that's a lot of fire. Oh, yeah.
Just want to jizz on that goblet.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not much characterization of Karkaroff or Victor Crumb.
Dude, Victor Crumb has 2 lines in the whole movie. Yeah. He speaks twice.
Yeah. He dances a good bit, though, so that's fun.
Yeah, he cuts it up. That's true.
Yeah.
And hey, how about this? Speaking of Victor Crumb, how do you feel about the way that this movie handles the Quidditch stuff, which is to say there is none?
I'm actually cool with it.
I'm okay with it.
The Quidditch only matters one time, and that's when the Dementors attack Harry during the Quidditch game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't... I mean, yeah, you could do without Quidditch. I understand why it's in the books. You really are establishing the life of the students and stuff, and it makes for a much more interesting world. But in the movies, you could just cut it for every one of the movies, except for the one.
I think so, too. Like, I know a lot of people were kind of mad that there's this whole build-up about the Quidditch World Cup in the intro, and then, like, just as the match is about to start, then we just cut back to them in the tent. But I'm like... That's fine. This is like a 2.5-hour-long movie. Ultimately, who wins the match doesn't affect the fucking story. Actually, though, you know what? In the book, it kind of does, because there's the people that are putting the bets on the tournament and stuff, right?
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people have trouble with in that is just how clunky it is. It goes from like setting up this gigantic World Cup and showing us this like huge stadium, and then it's like, and now we're in the tent singing songs. Like, it's just like so clunky. Like, you don't even have to have the Quidditch, but it's like, do you even have to show us all the other stuff then? Like, do we?
That's kind of the thing. Yeah. It seems like the World Cup could have probably been cut out, because ultimately all that happens at the end is that the camp gets ransacked, somebody casts the dark mark, but that's not even really all that important in the movie.
No, but yeah, in the movie, it's not important at all. You could have just set that up in a different way in the movie.
I think so. Yeah. And here's the thing that's kind of bothersome too, and I guess it's the same way in the book, but like, you're shown that this entire camp of wizards out here for the World Cup is like ginormous. And of course, we all know they're packing their wands. Like 10 Death Eaters show up and everybody fucking flips out and runs screaming. Nobody tries to fight back?
Yeah, these Death Eaters are not like better at magic than everyone, are they? Are the Death Eaters seriously just the only people who tried at magic? Because
they got really good at it.
It really seems like in this magical world, nobody's trying except for Hermione. I just don't understand.
That's true.
Like, I think about, I can do magic shit. I want to know everything. Like, the only people who seem to want to know everything are the evil people. As I've said it before, only 2 people can fly without the aid of a broom, and they're both evil for some reason.
Because they got good at what they're there to do. Fuck.
What's wrong? I don't understand. Yeah.
Steve, you know what? I'm just going to have to snap into something right here. Listen
Slim
closely.
Jim?
See if you can hear this over the distance.
Okay.
It's not a Slim Jim. It's a... it's a Kraken Code beer.
That sounds
It's also
delicious.
from my gift basket from Lindsay and Thomas. This is just a good old-fashioned Rogue Dead Guy ale. I'll tell you this, Steve. I have enjoyed myself over the past several years and months, and especially here during quarantine, a bevy of delicious IPAs that taste like every fruit under the sun. The other night I had a Untitled Art chocolate milkshake. No, it was a chocolate ice cream stout. That was unreal. Tastes like a fucking chocolate milkshake. But you know what is still good?
What's that?
Beer that tastes like beer.
That's true.
Beer's a good flavor.
It's one of my favorite.
It's a great flavor, and a Rogue Dead Guy is just kind of a good beer tasting beer with an extra little punch. It's got a 6.8 ABV, a 40 IBU.
Solid.
Let's just go ahead and let's get a little sippy sip in here. Maybe you got like a Merle Haggard tune on deck for me, maybe, while I get a little sip of this thing. I'm drinking alone, man. Maybe you got a Thorogood for me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I drink alone.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, nobody else.
And you know what? Guess what? That tastes really good. That's just a good old
I haven't had it in a long time.
I'm okay with it. It's really good on tap. It's better on tap than it is in a can. But this tastes to be a good freshie, and also like their can design and art and stuff like that.
I like that. Yeah, I haven't had it in years. Yeah. I would say I need to try me a Dead Guy again.
It's a good old
I do remember it tasting like a beer for sure.
Very beer-like on the palate. I'm gonna say I detect notes of beer.
Notes of beer. Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
Aftertaste, very ale-like.
Yes. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Just like you would expect. All right, Steve, let's talk about those other schools, because one of the cool things about the book is that it expands the wizarding world beyond Hogwarts.
Yes.
Like, it introduces you to this concept that, like, oh yeah, there's wizards all over the world. There's other schools throughout Europe and the rest of the planet, educating kids about the ways of magic. And in this film, we are introduced to Durmstrang and Beauxbaton, and it seems that they are gender segregated schools for reasons.
For some reason in the movie they decided that all of the Durmstrang would be boys and all of Beauxbaton's would be... I said Beauxbaton. My wife will be upset. Because that's how Dumbledore says it.
He does. I know, right? I was like Beaubaton, right? Like blue wand in
Which
French,
is exactly how it would be pronounced. Beaubaton. But no. Beaubaton.
Sacre bleu.
But yeah, anyway, why are they all girls? In the books, there very specifically are boys and girls in both schools. It's a strange choice, I think.
Yeah, and then Durmstrang is just a boys' school, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird because it then makes you, if you're not reading the books, it's like, okay, so in this world, in that country, only girls are witches?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what's going on there
and
why they did it that way. I've got so many questions about these other schools that I want to get to as well. But first, I also got to address the fact that in this year in the Harry Potter universe is where all the kids get horny as fuck.
Right. And Ben, let me just tell you, here's another problem I have.
I think I know what it is already.
Okay, so in the Harry Potter universe, there's a charm on the stairs for the girls' side of the co-ed dormitories that
turns
keeps
into
the
a
boys,
slide. Yeah,
keeps the boys from walking up there and fucking.
Yeah,
but it's not the same. The girls can go up into the boys' bedrooms easily.
Right.
The concept J.K. is presenting is essentially girls don't want to have sex.
I think that's what I get. I mean, I understand that there's a little bit of just like playful, like, oh, they mature much faster than boys and would make better decisions, which is true. But they also want to fuck. Duh.
Also, the idea, the better decisions idea has to be thrown out the fucking window. That because young girls mature faster, they make better decisions. Because I went to school with too many girls who had babies at 15.
Yeah.
They made decisions. And those decisions weren't mature because they were 15. So these girls aren't going to not go fuck. There's no reason why they wouldn't. It's just ridiculous. It puts out this concept that women don't have a sexuality. The only person who shows sexuality is Moaning Myrtle.
Oh, that nasty, nasty piss freak.
Yeah,
Moaning Myrtle, pee on me, boys, please.
Let me just ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and admit out loud, if I were a 14, 15-year-old boy and there was a horny ghost, it would take me exactly 2 seconds to decide to fuck a ghost.
Anna Nicole Smith style.
Yeah. And if it sucked, I wouldn't do it again. And if it was awesome, I would hang out in that bathroom and fuck Moaning Myrtle. What would be the downside?
Can you get a ghost pregnant and make ghost babies?
Okay,
I don't know.
If that did happen, I can see there might be a downside. Because I'm assuming any child from, a living human with a dead person is probably going to be evil.
This is definitely a Rob Zombie song, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Ghost baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Something about a car. I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, the horniness that is so muted in the movie that is there in the books, but it's still kind of definitely muted because it's for kids. It just seems like there would be so much fucking happening. And at the very least, there would be 1 to 2 abortion scenes in the next few books.
I was going to say, this totally leads to something that Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier talked about on their incredible Harry Scotter episodes that they did on Smodcast, where they talked about the very real possibility of a spell called Aborticus that happens in the Harry Potter universe. Aborticus!
Why wouldn't
you know it's happening.
Yeah, why not? That would make all the sense in the world. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I get that it's for kids, but erasing all of the female characters' sexuality is not a positive message for girl readers.
Well, I don't know that they exactly erased the female sexuality in the movie, considering the intro that the Beauxbaton schoolgirls made. Steve, I'd just like to impose a little bit of improvisation on you right here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of yes and play right here?
Let's do it.
I'm just trying to imagine if I was a Beauxbaton schoolgirl and you were Madame Maxine, and we were having a conversation about what would happen when we arrive at Hogwarts. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, Madame, how should we act upon arriving at the Hogwarts?"
Well, you want to make all of the men horny. Just very horny.
Oui.
Yes. You're going to want to run in and probably just each of you pick a boy at a table and kiss toward him and go,
maybe we are making the little butterflies come out from our bodies.
Definitely. Oui. And also, as you run, don't worry. The camera guy is going to show us your little butts. Like it's like not
14-year-old
weird.
butts.
Like it's not weird at all.
Like, I get that they're trying to show that this is what Ron is watching.
Right.
I understand. And, like, the way that Ron is totally head over heels for the girls in the book is very funny. But it's like watching what you know is maximum 16, 17-year-old girl ass on screen in a movie in a very fawning over it kind of perspective from the camera. It's kind of weird, right?
Yep, it's weird. Yeah, they could have just not shown us that shot. Just cut that shot and we'd be fine. It would not be weird, but it's weird.
And maybe not make the Beauxbaton girls walk in like just a bunch of fucking just sexual objects.
Yeah.
Like they literally moan.
Here we are moaning.
We're so horny to be at your school.
Well, I mean, and then the Durmstrang guys come in with their gigantic fucking dicks, just like pounding them on the ground, making noises.
And then that one kid, like, he break dances a little bit.
Yeah. Like, here's my dancing prowess. Now sex.
That was always one of those things, like, from day one that I watched the movie, when I watched those intros of the schools, I was like, man, this is fucking lame. Like, who watching the edit of this movie was like, this turned out great?
I don't know. I do not know, but they did make a wise choice in editing, speaking of lame things, at the Yule Ball.
Oh, the Yule Ball. Oh, the Yule Ball. The Yule Ball, Steve. But the Yule Ball.
The Yule Ball.
Now, what could you possibly have to say about the Yule Ball that's not positive? Come on.
Okay. So, I like the look, like the aesthetic of the Yule Ball for sure. And, they got that band that's mentioned in the book, the Weird Sisters.
The Weird Sisters, dude, they fucking jam.
Boy, don't they.
It's too bad to hear the full song. You have to watch the deleted scenes because they filmed the whole song.
The entire song, like a music video. And I recommend watching it with, like, all the preparation for maybe 2 to 3 hours of cringe just stuck resonating in you as you think about it. It's bad. Like, the song is ridiculous and I get that, but like it makes sense when it's just like a quick snippet that we get in the movie. It's like, oh, ha ha ha, that's a funny joke that somebody would make that. But if you see the whole song, you suddenly start to ask a lot of questions, like, why do they need a microphone?
Okay, you know what? That is a decent question. Yeah, it seems like they could do that thing that they do, at the Quidditch World Cup where you just amplify your voice.
So why the microphone?
Okay.
If you see the full video, he's holding what looks like a long sort of maybe wireless microphone, but then he takes the top of it off and sings into that while just holding what looks like just a stick.
I did not notice this. Like the top of like a staff that is the microphone, then he just takes that part off.
Yeah. Okay. So, but that thing was never stuck. It wasn't like part of a mic stand.
That's a little curious.
I'm not really sure what that was about. Okay. Also, they have what look like, I guess, the exact same thing as the microphone that are, I guess, they're amps, right?
I think so. Yeah. There's like a huge array of stuff behind them.
Yeah. Now, aesthetically, it looks cool, but I'm questioning why. They, again, can't just do a charm on, like it. Okay. These guys, those instruments, they... Damn it.
There's just so many questions.
Okay, Johnny, what's his name? From
Johnny
Radiohead.
Greenwood from Radiohead is in this movie playing guitar.
Playing guitar. The guitar has 3 necks of various sizes for some reason.
It's rock. It's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a wizard instrument? Or is he a muggle born who was like, oh, you guys are going to love the guitar? Like, this is... What is this world?
What's happening?
I just don't understand. Okay, we hear about the Weird Sisters in the books, in the movie. They don't even name them, but in the books, we hear about the Weird Sisters, and it's like, oh, okay, so there's a whole like pop culture thing in witch world.
Yeah.
Nobody ever fucking talks about it.
And all that they ever sing about is just wizard stuff. Like, the lyrics in this song name drop like every magical creature in the whole universe in like 2 verses. So then I'm like, what are the rest of their songs about?
More wizard stuff.
Dance like a hippogriff again. Spin around like a crazy elf like you did the last song.
Do you think their music is just perpetually stuck in like 50s top 40 area where it's just like, oh, this is all the same song over and over? I gotcha.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Pretty limited subject matter in those. There's
probably
bands.
A song like, come on, baby, do the hippogriff. Like that.
I put a spell on you.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, of course. Shake it up, baby, now. Like a witch.
Okay. Witch and shout, huh?
Witch and shout. That's it. Witch and shout.
Dude, it's one of those things that, I've spoken many times about that very specific type of embarrassment that they have a word for in the Japanese language, where you just feel sympathetically embarrassed when you watch somebody doing something that's extremely fucking lame. That is definitely how I feel when I watch that scene.
Yeah, and I get why they deleted it. I don't know why they shot it in the first place, though. That's my question.
That's true. That shows you the level of decision making that went into this, right?
Yeah, like, because it seems obvious, like, oh, that's a stupid idea. Let's not shoot all of that. Oh, we're going to shoot all of that with... There's like 50 actors on set. Some of them are like the actual like primary fucking actors. They're being paid for this.
Warwick Davis. Legendary Warwick Davis is crowd surfing.
Yes, come on. What?
Every time that I see something in a movie or a TV show where like they're singing and performing some like extremely fucking stupid song.
Yeah.
I always imagine like the people that are there in the real life like recording studio, like recording in the vocal booth. This guy's got the headphone cans on his head and he's singing into the mic and he's like, dance around like a crazy elf. Then they listen back and he's like, was that a keeper? Let's do another one. Dance around like a crazy elf.
Jarvis, we're going to need you to, put some more like, on the crazy.
Dance around like a crazy elf.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the one.
All right.
That's what we're going for.
I bet they got that same guy to coach Voldemort on how to say Crucio. Crucio! That's how he says it. Crucio!
Why?
Sounds like he's
that
Mario.
Really always
just
bugged me.
Jumping.
And there's like the most generic like electrical sound effect when he casts it too.
Yeah.
It's so bad, dude. They should have had like Harry scream with like a Wilhelm scream whenever he gets hit with that too.
Yeah, that
just
would have been
all
amazing.
the stock sound effects.
Yeah. Then just a rusty gate. closing for some reason.
Yeah. Now, that's the thing, too, with like the whole ball scene. It's like, okay, in the book, it's like everybody kind of ignores Hermione as a potential date because she's the bookish one, and then she has that she's all that moment where her teeth get fixed, and she kind of tames her hair a little bit. She shows up, and she's gorgeous. The thing is that, like, Hermione, through the course of the movies, has been a totally normal-looking, like, very just pretty young lady.
So it just makes no sense. It's like, so you guys just didn't notice your friend's hot?
Yeah,
That's weird.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
So her like showing up in the movie and being like, wow, she's wearing this beautiful pink gown or whatever.
That's what makes men notice. They're like, the gown. Now I see.
Pink gown. Now I see a lady. And of course, we get Harry and Ron that join up with the Patel twins. J.K. Rowling having her incredible gift of naming ethnic characters after the most generic names possible.
What if
Indian people named
all the
Patel?
white characters are named Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's a Chinese character name? I don't know. Chang.
Right? There you go.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with the Patel sisters is that they, very much like the Weasley twins, talk in unison. All twins talk in unison in this world.
Not a thing I've noticed with real-world twins.
I don't think so. Maybe we're wrong.
My wife is a twin.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She is.
Yeah.
How often do they talk in unison? Come on.
I don't think I've ever seen them talk in unison unless they were both quoting a movie or something.
Maybe they do it all the time when they're alone. They just don't show it off to you.
Yeah, they probably do.
Yeah, the whole ball is pretty pointless, honestly. There's not really a lot to that. And I think the Weasley twins in this I think that they're fine. They're a little out of character with some of their like little fighting and stuff. And I wish it would have shown their aspirations to have their joke shop and stuff, because that's a big thing that they leave out here is that Harry takes his winnings from winning the tournament and gives it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Weasleys are poor.
Yeah. Which movie do they actually show it? Is the 5th or 6th one where they actually show their...
Well, the 5th is when they like leave the school in the dramatic fashion.
Yes. So the 6th one, they actually do show that they open the place, right? And it's like not even answered as to how that happened in the, because it's a pretty big jump to go from dropping out of school to having one of the few storefronts on the Wizard Alley. Yeah,
exactly. Well, and two, like I really like that it shows that even though the Weasley twins were kind of the miscreants and never really, paid attention to their studies and stuff, they found a good way to use their skills and abilities productively.
They're actually good at magic. They're just not good at school.
Right.
I mean, the Weasley's story was a pretty good, like, tale of, like, it's not all just school. I think that's a cool lesson for kids to learn that, to cut that out is weird.
Now, let me ask you this.
It's small. Like, they basically could have just thrown it in there and cut out 5 minutes of the dragon stuff later.
Okay, the dragon stuff. Let's just talk about that and some of these challenges real quick since you just brought it up.
Okay.
So, how about whenever Harry is battling that dragon, that thing breaks loose, goes off chasing Harry, a student at the school, around. At this point, too, it's like Dumbledore knows he's the chosen one and must be protected and all that kind of shit. Nobody even lifts a finger to try to intervene.
Right.
Like, you'd think that there'd be people, like, on brooms trying to chase that dragon down immediately. But they're like, well, we'll just wait here at the stadium and see how this pans out, I guess.
It's the Tri-Wizard Tournament, so...
We gotta follow the rules.
All right. I mean, it's no big deal if Harry dies. Oh, it is. It is a big deal.
It is.
Oh, that's what like so much of our work up to this point has been about protecting him. Maybe we should protect him now when we see him in actual fucking danger.
Yeah. And even though a dragon is actually chasing him around the school and destroying the property and the rooftops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's just stay here, wait it out, See what happens.
I think, though, I mean, to be fair, I think the Wizarding World, like, danger and destruction in the Wizarding World have less of an impact when you really can just fix things with the flick of a wrist.
I guess so. Not like, human life, though.
You cannot return a human life. You can fix, like, any damage caused or whatever, but you cannot return his life. So, like, what were the precautions they put in with the dragons? Like, because they said that they put in a bunch of precautions so that nobody would die for the tournament. Like, it seemed like with the dragons, there were zero precautions. It was just, well, we'll put him on a chain, and if he breaks that, I don't know, fuck.
Hey, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
It's a chain. Chains don't break.
I don't fucking get it. And then, okay, here's one that I really have a question about. That second task, right?
Uh-huh.
Where not only are the champions themselves putting their lives in danger by being asked to go underwater and possibly drown to death, but also, too, like, your best friend or sibling's life is in danger, too, because we're chaining him up underwater and just hoping you find him. Imagine, dude, you are just a young Hogwarts student just trying to fucking go to school, and, like, the day of the second task, you know, maybe one of the teachers or something like that at the school taps you on the shoulder, and you're like, oh, hello, Miss McGonagall, how are you today? And she's like, I'm doing fine. I want you to know that you're Harry's best friend. He really cares about you. oh, that's great to hear. Also, you're maybe going to die, and then they press gang you. And I guess slip you a roofie or knock you unconscious or something, and fucking put you underwater. The next thing you know, you're waking up being dragged to the surface, gasping for air.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the one person who reacts appropriately to what could only be the knowledge that your little sister died, it's like, no one was ever in any real danger.
Sure.
Like, wait, what? So you just put me through the entire emotional roller coaster of thinking that my sister died because I failed
the task and my little sister drowned to death.
Oh, cool. Thumbs up. What's the next task, you fucking ass?
Let's talk about that specifically because, yes, Fleur's little sister is her, person she's supposed to go save underwater. Now, this brings me to a very interesting question that I must ask of the movie and the book both, because that is what happens in the book. Considering that you can only enter the tournament if you're age 17 or older.
Right.
Why did the other schools bring underage kids to Hogwarts this year?
That's
considering they can't
question.
Even compete in the tournament. Why?
Yeah. Because they obviously didn't bring all of their students.
No, it's just like fucking 15 people from each school, and they're like, well, we will need some of you to be cannon fodder for the tournament and risk your lives. I hope that your champion does you well.
To be put underwater or something. Who knows?
Excuse me, what? I'm staying the fuck home.
Also, one big question I have about all of this. Is the Triwizard Tournament a matter of utmost secrecy and there's zero history about it? Because it seems to me at any point, Hermione would have been like, well, looks like in the Triwizard Tournament, they seem to take your friends and put them underwater, and you have to survive for an hour underwater.
Well, I mean, we don't know that the tasks are the same every year.
Right, but I'm sure the task would have some similarities at the very
the
least.
First time.
Like, she would have to have been like, it seems like a lot of times they use your friends. Oh, but it says here you're not actually in danger, so don't really be worried about that.
Yeah. Okay, now here's another huge question that I have about this too. So these other European schools have brought along tons of students that can't even legally participate in the tournament, right? And so then, like with Durmstrang, for example, they bring all these kids along, all these like hunk pro athlete fucking macho looking dudes.
Yeah.
Victor Crumb is literally the only one that enters.
Right.
He's the only one that puts his name in. So then they're like announcing the champions, and it's like, for Durmstrang, Victor Krum. Wow.
Whoa,
he's the only one that fucking entered, of course.
Yeah, I know. Oh, speaking of things that don't make sense, reactions that don't make sense. When Dumbledore says that you have to be 17 to enter, the student body is outraged. Someone's like, why? This has never happened. They haven't had a Triwizard Tournament in 200 years. These kids either know everything about the Triwizard Tournament or nothing. Like, give me something to grab onto. It seems like they know nothing, but they're reacting like, no, this is the only thing I've been thinking about my entire life, and I want to do this.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's true. They do get pretty fucking irate about it.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, don't they?
Yeah, it's like, well, what? You had no expectation this would ever happen in your lifetime.
I don't get it, man. I just don't really understand what is going on with the whole tournament thing. And then also, too, just like, considering that this is a Triwizard Tournament, a competition among 3 different schools, 1 champion each school, when you're dealing with 3 competitors, and then one school gets to have 2 competitors, man, the odds sure are the fuck unfair there, aren't they?
Right, yeah. That's, I mean, that is like a big part of the argument in the book, but it doesn't really come up in the movie at all.
Well, the closest that we get to that is that we get a irrationally flip out fucking angry Dumbledore react and assault Harry for it. Why is Dumbledore so mad in this, dude?
I had to reread these parts. He is so calm in the books.
Yeah,
in comparison.
always.
Yeah.
This movie is like Sleepaway Camp, where everybody is so fucking aggro all the time.
Yes. I would have loved it if somebody was like, hey, Harry, why come you so fucked up?
Dude, absolutely so. Yeah, Dumbledore in this is the least Dumbledore of all the Dumbledores.
Yeah,
like, there is none.
It is the worst.
There's none of the closeness that Harry has with Dumbledore. I mean, Dumbledore is the closest thing he has to a dad.
Yeah, and in this, he's just a yelly, like, aloof presence that doesn't really do much other than yell.
Yeah, like, dude, like, even whenever they're, like, announcing the tournament and stuff, and like you said, the 17-year-olds get all mad because they can't enter, he's immediately like, silence!
Yeah.
Like, pissed sounding. Like, that is not what Dumbledore would do.
I've had enough of your fucking shit!
Shut the fuck up!
Which is how I would be if I was headmaster, I would imagine.
Well, yeah,
but that's
obviously
not the Voldemort that we ever read in the books.
Yeah, the Dumbledore in this is just terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with the costuming and the look and the voice and all that stuff. I think that what is that guy's name?
Michael Gaiman?
Yeah, I think that he does a fine job. I think that he's good. But good Lord, the writing in this is just totally off base, and I wonder if he ever read the books to realize that this is not fucking Gandalf here. This is Dumbledore.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
I'm not sure if I didn't look that up. I really would like to know, because as I believe we pointed out in the third one, he isn't aggressive in the third one. It's the fourth
really
one.
Not
where
until this one.
Yeah, where he becomes this like completely different character. And yeah, I mean, it must have something to do with the writing, because it just doesn't make sense to have him shouting everything. And I don't know, he just doesn't have that calming presence that he is in the book. So yeah,
I think so. I think another character in this that I think is played kind of weird, especially considering that he was such a pivotal figure at the end of the third movie, is Alan Rickman's Severus Snape.
Yeah,
who
he's
is
barely in this.
At all.
He has like the funny moment where he pushes their heads down and stuff.
Okay,
like,
but what the fuck is going on during that
I don't know.
They're in the Great Hall where they're supposed to be eating breakfast and stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking some sort of test, and he shoves their heads down onto their parchment.
I think it's some sort of study period or something. I don't know, but yeah, I think it was more of just we haven't had enough Alan Rickman. Oh, Alan Rickman gets along with the kids. Let's have him joke around to have Alan Rickman on the team.
I guess, but he's so underused, man. Like he is the perfect
absolutely.
Severus Snape. He's so good,
man.
Yeah,
he should be used more for sure. I did get a theory though regarding Severus Snape while watching this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that he left Voldemort because Voldemort was gonna kill
Lily.
Yeah. So basically, sometime after July 31st, 1980, he became a professor at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
But his real job always was to protect Harry. But I'm assuming since Harry was with his his family, seemed pretty protected, he pretty much had his summers off and other holidays. I think 1988 around Christmas, he put on a fake beard, headed to Los Angeles to Nakatomi Tower.
No.
Yeah, and then what we don't see is as he's falling off the building, he just flies away because Snape can fly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like, unsuccessful. Didn't get those Krugerrands. Well, back to Hogwarts where I'm a teacher.
Dude. You might really be onto something here. Because they do look and sound very similar.
They do. They have very similar look and sound. I don't know why that is.
Wow. And I mean, that also explains why he could never fucking, kill Bruce Willis, because he didn't really know how to use a gun. He's a fucking... he's not a muggle.
What do I do with this? But I'll look confident. I'll pretend it's a wand. That'll do it.
Do you think that he cast the what's the mind control spell on all his European henchmen?
The Imperious Curse.
The Imperious Curse.
Yeah.
They were all Imperious.
Yeah, those are all just good dudes. Every one of those guys was a normal, everyday dude before Snape came along. And he was
just went and
all right, heist time.
Snape's Vacation, 1988.
Snape's Vacation, that's the name of it.
I love that
Die
idea.
Hard from the perspective of Hans Gruber, but he knows he's Snape. I love it. Yeah.
Please give us that fan fiction.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Somebody. That's a fucking great idea. That's so stupid.
I could sense the muggle in the vents, but I had to pretend like I couldn't because everybody would know I was a witch or something.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, so let's talk about the real bad guy of this movie, the guy that does the most plotting and scheming and turns all the events and emotions and stuff. We've got Mad Eye Moody, which is actually Barty Crouch Jr. Using Polyjuice Potion in an elaborate plan to get Harry to Voldemort that makes less than zero fucking sense, Steve. This is one of those things that, again, it's not really just the movie's fault because... And again, y'all know I love the books. You know I do. But just think about it this way. This movie, early on, and book, introduces port keys, these magical objects that can be imbued with a teleportation spell that when you touch them, they take you to another place.
Right.
So Barty Crouch's entire plan is, I will impersonate a Hogwarts teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I will get Harry entered into this tournament.
Duh.
And then whenever he gets to the final task, he will grab the Goblet of Fire and be transported to the cemetery where Wormtail can take his blood because they need Harry's blood specifically. Otherwise, Voldemort cannot come back, correct?
Right.
And that will resurrect the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord has specifically said that he will be the one to kill Potter. He has to. Nobody else can do it because obviously... Everybody else has a million chances to kill Harry, but Voldemort has to be the one to do it. Dude, did it have to be that complicated? Because here's the thing.
No.
What if the whole thing went down and he slipped Harry's name into the goblet and stuff? First task, that fucking dragon breaks loose and fucking kills him. Second task, maybe he drowns to death. Third task, maybe he gets eaten by the maze or the blast-ended Scroots or the Sphinx or anything else.
Yeah.
What happens then? Voldemort doesn't come
variables.
back. Yeah. Like, Voldemort doesn't get to come back because he doesn't have the blood of the Chosen One, yada yada.
Right.
And then the whole thing is just fucking ruined.
Just get his blood?
Dude, wouldn't it be easier just to turn any fucking random object in Harry's dorm room into a portkey? Turn his fucking quill, turn his fucking jerk-off sock into a portkey, and he grabs it and he's transported.
I think they explain that in the book a little bit better. They explain it away like that you can't a portkey into Hogwarts wouldn't work or something. Like there's, the charms on Hogwarts that keep you from apparating and disapparating.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, the maze is on Hogwarts grounds.
Yeah, and I think they made, the maze specially so without the charm, so the portkey could bring them back to where they were.
That is some backpedaling. That is some definite backpedaling. Because the maze is built on the Quidditch pitch, so it is on Hogwarts grounds.
Yeah, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a way of making forcing the plan to work, despite the fact that it wouldn't work. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like there's just got to be an easier way.
Absolutely.
And definitely less of a risk of Harry dying,
which is
off
his
very
finger.
real threat.
Like, all you need, if you need only his blood, just get his blood. Like, you're already in Hogwarts. You're dressed as Mad-Eye Moody. You're the defense against the dark arts teacher. So you say, defend yourself against this thing. And, it busted your nose open. Here's some blood. Boom, Voldemort's back. You don't even have to tell Harry Potter or anybody else. And now you got the secret that Voldemort's back, and he can build up his army without anybody fucking knowing he's around.
That seems pretty good. That seems like a pretty good plan.
A little bit better than set up an elaborate situation in which you can finally get Voldemort in the same place as Harry Potter for some reason.
Yeah, and also ensure that Harry reaches that portkey before anybody else does. Like, what if Victor Crumb would have got there first? Anybody.
Yeah, so they had to bewitch Victor Crumb and Fleur Delacour, but they don't bewitch Cedric.
Well, Fleur isn't bewitched in the movie. She just sucks at doing the task.
Yeah. In the movie, they're just like, and Fleur sucks. Like,
so that's why she got taken by the maze. Because she's not good at this.
Yeah. The Cedric getting there is like, well, if Cedric had just gotten there and Harry hadn't at all, what would they have done? Like, they set up the whole thing to just kill Cedric Diggory? Probably.
I don't know. It's just collateral damage, Collateral damage. Well, and then the thing is, too, is that the fake Mad-Eye Moody brings the real Mad-Eye Moody to school with him. Why didn't he just shave his head for all the hairs for the Polyjuice potion? You need one hair to make a batch. Yeah. That's stated. Shave his fucking head, shave his balls, whatever you need to do, gather enough hair, then fucking kill him. Why did he keep him alive? In a chest at Hogwarts?
No idea. Doesn't make sense.
Right?
There's a lot of... The plan is very convoluted and would definitely make an Ocean's movie look simple.
I agree. Although, like I said, I really do like Gleason as Moody. I think that he couldn't
me too.
have been cast better. I think that guy is perfect for the part, even though I hate that they kind of robotized him. Like when you're seeing his magical eye, it's got those like weird focus zooming mechanical sound effects, and he's got like a robo leg and stuff. Like I don't really like that. I would have liked it if it was a more magical or organic kind of thing going on there.
Yeah, it's also weird whenever Voldemort gives Peter Pettigrew his hand back. It's all like metallic. Like,
it's like the chrome kind of hand. I mean, I think in the book it's like he got a silver hand or something like that. But it does have this weird liquid chromey kind of look to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks kind of like a T2000.
It's
just a little too techy for me, the look of it.
hadn't thought about that, but yeah. Now, of course, Rita Skeeter in the book plays a much more major role. It is revealed that she is an animagus who can turn herself into a beetle. That's how she gets all the dirt on everybody. Hermione, in a very strange, twisted act, captures her in a jar and I think keeps her there for years, if I remember correctly. Rita Skeeter in this doesn't do anything.
She doesn't. She doesn't do anything in this. She's got the one scene where basically she's interviewing the kids separate in a closet, which none of them are adults. It's weird for an adult to take a child separate into a closet to interview them.
When you say it that way, it does sound weird.
Just strange. So, to me, it stood out as, I don't think that would fly. But, Miranda Richardson's so good that she's very charming in the scene. It's just, they don't use her much at all. We see the headlines, I guess, that she's writing. And then she shows up to take a picture at inopportune moments.
It almost seems like she's in here just to be a very, Trumpian stab at the press.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, just the press is only there for the bad stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like she could have been cut out from the movie entirely. And I'll tell you, one cut that I did miss from the previous flicks is John Williams' score.
Oh, right. He didn't come back for this one because he was busy.
In the first two movies, those soundtrack bits that he did are absolutely memorable. Hedwig's theme and all those other things, you'll remember those till the day that you die. Right. The music in this is just very forgettable to me, man. I didn't ever really notice the music. Did you get anything out of it?
I think I know the reason for that. The music's by Patrick Doyle, who has done stuff where I love the music. So I know he knows what he's doing. He did Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which I think is really good. He did the first Thor. He did Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which all of those, I think the music's great.
Those are good.
So I think he stepped in a place where he's being expected to do John Williams' thing, and he was probably like, I'm not John Williams, so here's some generic stuff. He kind of sounds like John Williams, just throw that in. I'm not gonna go all out on this because I'm not trying to steal John Williams' thing.
Yeah. It's a real catch-22 situation where if he just would have totally aped John Williams, people wouldn't have liked that.
Then it's but if he does something completely different, it's like, well, this is already established. This is John Williams. But this is what people expect.
Yeah.
But he had worked with Mike Newell before on other stuff, so he was kind of brought in because, he knew Mike Newell's style and stuff. But yeah, I think he probably was just like, I don't want to step on John Williams' toes because he's John Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's just very, very forgettable to me. It just blends into the background. You know?
Yeah. It's not much of anything for sure.
Yeah. This movie, dude, it's just one of those ones that, again, the nostalgia and just the fact that it's part of the Harry Potter universe and that it is tied to my favorite book.
Yeah, absolutely.
It earns it a lot of extra points. I definitely give it a lot of, freebie, fun time watching points just for those reasons alone. Sure. Because I know in my mind, I can connect the dots and fill in the blanks of all the stuff that the movie doesn't exactly fill in. But, that's the joy of doing a podcast is you watch these movies and just try to analyze them for what they are. And if they make any sense on their own, and if they stand on their own as a good story and a good watch. And, watching this movie this time, I even have something in my notes where I'm just like, this isn't really a story. It's just a bunch of things happening.
Yeah, it's a bunch of set pieces for sure. It really, right? Yeah. And I think especially when we're looking at these early to mid 2000s movies, we do have to remember that the CGI took longer back then. So you may be in a state of pre-production back then where you're like, well, we want to do this in the movie, and it's like, well, you need to get people doing the CGI now. So they're already working on it. You get to a point maybe in your production where you're like, ooh, I'm not so sure about that scene. Well, it doesn't matter if you're sure about that scene. We've spent millions of dollars on it already, so it's going in the movie.
Yeah, so we're having 10 minutes of dragon chase.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what happens with this movie is where they probably had a bunch of CGI stuff, and then like the script is kind of developing, and they're like, well, maybe it doesn't work, but it's like, well, we've paid for it, and it's going in.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's probably what happened with a lot of the parts in this movie. You got any final closing thoughts about this thing? Anything else that comes to mind when you're talking about this flick?
Not really. I mean, this is just it's a little disappointing to no longer see this as fun. Because I used to think this was a much more fun movie, but now to look at it is like, it really is just a set piece to set piece, jump to jump of. I mean, it's so inconsistent. I like the part where Hermione and Ron show up, and Hermione's like, Ron, Dean said this to that and this and blah 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 blah.
I'm not an owl.
Yeah. Okay. Like it. The scene is like this huge emotional whiplash where you're like, oh, Ron's being a good guy. Oh, Hermione's mad at Harry for some reason. What's happening? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand. It's just so many of the scenes are just like, well, you know the thing from the book. Well, is it? It's the thing from the book. Remember? Like, if you're watching it as a viewer, it's just like, I don't understand what is happening here. I just think that it fails a lot in trying to both overreach with the story and underreach. Like, it really doesn't try hard enough to tell a story.
Yeah.
But it tries so hard to make what it is telling you look like a story. It's like, well, you could have just told a story. It would have been easier. But I do think that I think CGI probably affected some of this, and maybe they would have done things differently if they could have changed course. It's still better than 2, I would say. I probably like 3 better, honestly, and I didn't like 3 that much.
Right.
I used to like 3 more before we reviewed it, but I think I probably like 3 better than this, even though it also doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, not at all. I wish I would have remembered what I would have rated 3 so I could compare this to it.
Yeah, I don't remember what I rated it, but for me, this is probably like a 4.5. Like, the nostalgia's still there, but dude, I'm not enjoying it as much. It was it was really a task to watch it the second time.
Oh man, you watched it twice?
Well, yeah, I always watch at least twice, yeah.
Jeez, that's like 5 hours of your life, dude.
I know. I know that. Yeah, it was a task, man. It wasn't fun.
Man, I'm right there with you where, I still know that the nostalgia and just the watchability in terms of just how pretty this movie is definitely carrying my rating and tugging at my heartstrings a little bit. But it is different now, and that's not bad. I mean, it's the kind of thing where, it's like the very last part of the movie where Hermione, in a very overdramatic, overacting fashion, is like, everything's going to change now, isn't it? And Harry's like, yeah. My perspective on these things is changing, and that is okay, actually.
That is okay. That's true.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, there's things in here that I like. Again, the casting and stuff is great. The look is great. There's a lot of stuff in here that just doesn't make any sense at all. And it's not all the movie's fault. Like, some of it's the book's fault, too. Like, the whole, plot to lure Harry to the Goblet of Fire is very, very flawed. Yeah. Extremely flawed.
For sure.
And, so I wish I could just blame everything on the movie for getting the book wrong, but it's like, actually, the movie got some parts of the book right that don't really make much sense. So I can't really just blame that on the writers and directors and stuff. So I think I'm actually going to go right there with you, Steve. I think 4 is where I'm going to put this thing. And it's funny because going into it, I think I would have told you like 7 or 8 just because I've had it on just and watched memory. It so many times. Yeah. But there's just a lot of problems with this thing. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's also just recent events definitely tainting my expectations, right?
Yeah, it might be coloring things a little bit, but I don't know. I think it really does just not stand up as well as we had remembered.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I'm really excited to get into that fifth one. Next June.
Right, to see if because the fifth one I remember really liking.
You love the fifth book. I remember you talking about that a lot of times.
And I think the fifth movie is a good adaptation of the fifth book because, of course, there's stuff in the fifth book you couldn't adapt in any interesting way. But yeah.
And see, myself, like I really dislike the fifth book. It's easily my least favorite, and the fifth movie, from what I recall, makes zero sense, and the whole prophecy thing is pretty worthless.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I look forward to talking about that one, but we'll see what happens. Maybe in a year, maybe my perspective will have changed. Maybe for the better, probably for the worse.
Probably.
We'll find out. Now, Steve, on the show next week, what's we gonna be talking about?
Well, Ben, it's summer. It's time to go to camp.
Oh, we're going camping.
Friday the 13th, part 5.
Yeah!
What?
Awesome. I'm always stoked to talk about some more Jason flicks here on the show. Always a good time. Just some fucking scantily clad teens getting dismembered, chopped up. There's a lot of boobs in this movie.
That's true. It's also got some good kills in it, for sure.
It does. So that will be a fun time as always. So be sure to tune in next week and check out our episode then. If you guys have enjoyed this here episode and want to help support the show, Steve, how do you think they should do that?
Well, you could head on over to patreon.com/deadandlovely. Guess what happens?
What happens?
One of two things might happen. You head over there and you're like, oh, they got Patreon exclusive episodes? Do what?
They? What?
Oh my gosh. How much money would I need to give them? Why, only $1 would get me that? What?
A single doll hair?
Wait, but if I give them $5 a month, I can submit a movie once a month and maybe choose what movie they cover.
Lord of mercy.
Yep, so one of the two things gonna happen. Probably both. You might ejaculate. I'm just saying. I'm warning you.
These things do happen.
It's true. So you might want to either wear some pants you don't like or just get naked.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah.
Prepare. Put a towel down. Something.
So yeah, head on over there, become a Patreon patron, and help us decide what movies we cover. It's been a blast so far. Every single Patreon movie has been fun, even the ones we didn't like.
Yeah, it's always been fun just to be like, this person liked this movie? What?
What is wrong with you?
What the what?
We do judge you. We judge you all.
Absolutely. You spent $5 for this?
What's wrong with you?
Let's talk about you. So you guys be sure to tune in. Next week, we'll be having ourselves a good old time, talking about some flicks, catching up, bullshitting, all the stuff that we do all the time. Once again, if you want to help support our trans brothers and sisters, consider checking out the Trevor Project, the Ochre Project, or the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. Donate, make a difference, do some good stuff. There's links in the podcast description thing. So be sure to open up your app and find that stuff. Rate and view on iTunes. Well, it's not iTunes. Apple Podcasts. I keep saying that. How long is it going to take before I quit saying fucking iTunes?
Well, they'll change it to something else, and then we'll start calling it Apple Podcast.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
If you can rate and review this podcast wherever you are listening to it, please do. Helps us out a ton.
Yeah.
And be sure to tune in next time to Dead and Lovely, featuring your good buddies, Uncle Ben,
Hollywood Steve.
We've been Dead and Lovely. You guys have been fantastic. We'll catch you guys later. Bye. Spin around like a crazy elf. I'm just dancing with myself. Something about a hippogriff. Then a mummy took a shit. A vampire did a thing. And then I jerked off on his wings.
Hey, wait. Do you think Monster Mash was like a wizard hit that was a crossover hit?
It broke into the Muggle world? Oh my god. Yes, I do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, man. I'm going to lay a hypothetical situation on here, and I just want to know what your genuine reaction would be if you ever found yourself in this situation, okay?
Hype me up. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's say that you and your lovely, committed waifu, Emily, let's say that you guys were just chilling. Maybe this is even over like a very, momentous candlelit dinner, like a fancy restaurant or something like that.
Right,
and she's like, there's something that I really want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I have found my true life's purpose. I have found what I want to devote my life to.
Okay.
This is something I'm very excited about, and it's something that I want to share the ride with you, and most importantly, I want to do this for us. This is something I think that I can do for the both of us to make our lives better and make us successful and leave a mark on the world.
Okay.
And then she says, I want to grow the world's longest fingernails for us.
Oh, okay.
What is your reaction and what do you do?
One, you're too late. It's too late to start. It's too late to start. You're not going to make it. You can't do it.
Oh, man, that's discouraging.
I'm sorry. Listen, I try to be a very supportive and encouraging partner and friend, but I will say that if you were to say I'm going to go for the home run record, I'd be like, Ben, it's not going to happen. It's just, don't waste your time.
It's not unsupportive, it's realistic.
It's realistic, okay? Listen, if you haven't started in your teens, you're never going to get to that one dude. The curly nailed. Remember? Oh, gosh, in the Guinness Book of Records. And they looked like Fritos, just gross, disgusting Fritos that are. One of them was all like corkscrew.
Yeah. Like an Arby's curly fry. Did we just ruin like all the best foods?
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely thinking about that the next time that I eat Fritos. Thank you.
Yummy.
Could you imagine though, like if your partner was going for that record and like you have to sleep in a bed next to this person?
What if you roll over on the nails?
No. You'd feel those things fucking brushing up against your ankles in the morning, dude.
Wait, has anybody gone for world's longest toenails? And what's that all about?
Howard Hughes has got it on lockdown, man.
Yeah.
A ghastly scenario.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, that would be... Oh, I don't want that to happen now.
Yeah, please no. Please no.
If that was a would you rather, whatever the other thing is.
Yeah, anything but that, please. Yeah. Thank you.